Are on the brink of setting a new Premiership record, but it's one they won't be proud of. If they lose to Newcastle on Super Sunday, it will be their 9th league defeat in a row. Now, it all started to go wrong when 3 second-half goals at Leeds consigned them to their 4th defeat of the season.
A week later, 2 Danny Cadamarteri strikes saw Everton trip them up at the Valley.
A mistake from Sasa Ilic made Brian Kidd's day as Kevin Davis's goal got him off to a winning start.
In the absence of Paolo Di Canio, Benito Carboni inspired an impressive Wednesday win.
Proof that when you're down, your luck's out. Richard Rufus's own goal meant no points in 5.
And when you're in a bad run, you don't want Wimbledon. Michael Hughes' goal ensured they were done by the Dons.
Still no Christmas presents for Alan Curbishley. Arsenal lost Patrick Vieira but not Mark Overmars. No points in 7.
And a big game in the basement, and another slip-up from Sasha, as Southampton meant 8 defeats out of 8 for Charlton.
Well, Charlton's board are planning a last-ditch gamble to retain their Premiership status. They'll give Alan Curbishley money to spend in the battle against relegation. Vice-Chairman Richard Murray admits the club have struggled to face up to the harsh realities of life in the top flight, but he insists they would not look upon relegation as the end of the world. Guy Havard reports.
Richard Murray, here on the right, is Charlton's major shareholder. It might not excite their fans to hear this after 8 successive defeats, but like all good businessmen, Murray is looking long-term. Sure, he wants Charlton to stay up, but that isn't the most important thing.
Charlton in 6 years has come from a bankrupt club to a club with a real future, with a good stadium which we own, and you know, we're not going to blow that. We would do our best to stay in this division, but if we do unfortunately get relegated, we want to make sure we're the favourites to come back up again.
Neil Redfern is currently their record signing. He cost just £1 million. Charlton admit they are cautious, but they don't want to copy certain other Premiership clubs.
I think there's going to be a lot of casualties in football in the next couple of years, and I think one of my main jobs is to make sure that Charlton isn't one of them.
By casualties, what do you mean?
I think clubs are going to go bust. I think there's been well-publicised stories in Division 1, and I think they're in real trouble, and I've even heard that 2 or 3 Premier League clubs have debts which are astounding. And
do you really think big clubs, though, could go under?
I think what I'd call the middle-sized Premier League clubs, there's 2 or 3 are very highly borrowed, and they just cannot afford to go down.
That said, Charlton are prepared to invest to try and stay up. Manager Alan Curbishley has been given £3 million to spend. By Premiership standards, though, it's a modest amount.
So if someone said to you, you're not prepared to gamble to stay up this season, would you hold your hand up and say, yeah, that's a fair charge?
Yes, well, what we've decided to do, we're willing to gamble £3 million of debt to stay up. What we're not willing to gamble is £6 million or £10 million of debt, no.
Fellow Premiership strugglers Nottingham Forest are hoping a change of manager might keep them up. Charlton, though, take a different view.
He got us up to this division with far smaller resources than most clubs, and what I'm looking for him to do is to keep us up in this division, in the Premier League, with far less resources than any other club. If he can do that, he really is a miracle worker.
Long-term, the future is secure. Short-term, they desperately need a win against Newcastle on Sunday. Guy Havard, Sky Sports.
Well, meanwhile, Newcastle don't go to the Valley in the best of form either. They've won only 2 of their last 12 league games, and last week went down to Chelsea. And manager Ruud Gullit realises a win this weekend, well, it's really crucial.
I think we have to get a good results. I think last couple of games played quite well, but I think that the results have been very poor. So I prefer rather to play very badly and have some points. I think it's now the most vital thing is getting points.
Well, no doubt about it. Alan Curbishley's men desperate for the win to avoid that unwanted record against a Newcastle side in transition. Let's go head-to-head. While Charlton are hovering over the trapdoor in 19th, Newcastle are sitting comfortably in mid-table. Charlton's appalling record is there for all to see, but Newcastle too look vulnerable. The bookies don't think so. They have Gullit's men at 6-5 to win, with Charlton at 15-8 and 9-5 the draw. So the team news ahead of Super Sunday, and Neil Redfern will sit this one out as he serves a suspension. And Charlton may also have to make do without defender Richard Rufus. He's struggling with a calf injury. Newcastle will be without suspended keeper Shay Given, and he's joined in the sin bin by Dietmar Hamann after the German was sent off at Anfield 2 weeks ago. And you can see Charlton against Newcastle exclusively live from the Valley on Super Sunday, Sky Sports 1 at 3.
We're in South East London today with the Addicts. Our live Super Sunday football this afternoon from the Carling Premiership is Charlton Athletic against Newcastle United. And what an irony in a week that Kevin Keegan has been making headlines again, that Newcastle find themselves on the ground where he was in charge of a game with the Geordies for the last time. He's certainly enjoying himself. They can't be. As I said, just 2 wins in their last 12 means that if they lose here today, then they are in a bit of bother. No two ways about that. Our guest this afternoon is a brave man, David Jones, whose team got thumped at Anfield yesterday, and we are very grateful, Dave, that you've turned out for us today. Much appreciate that. What on earth happened then?
We did all right for 22 minutes, and then you can't legislate. I mean, Paul Jones dropped the ball and floodgates were open, but we should have dug in, and we didn't, and it was hell watching it, really.
We've got to put you through it again.
Thank you.
Here today, are they amongst it? Are Sheffield Wednesday?
Well, Danny's done well with Sheffield Wednesday, but I think you can go as far up as the 13th spot there. And as you said, if Newcastle don't get anything today, then there's a lot of trouble there. There's a long, long way to go. And if a team puts a run of results together, 3 or 4 on the bounce, then all of a sudden you think, oh, we're out of it. You look at Charlton, and I was talking to Alan last week, you know, they've lost 8 games on the trot, and they're still not out of contact. So it just goes to show how well they did early part of the season.
There's a feeling that maybe 40 points is excessive this season, that you could be, Dave Bassett said last week, and maybe 38 would be enough. Are you thinking like that?
Well, we set a target of 10 wins. That's what we set, and that was going to get us to the 40, just over the 40 points mark. It might take, 2 points more, it might take 2 points less, but that's how close it is. And as I said, I think you can go as far up as 13th spot there.
Well, that would mean Leicester and Tottenham can think differently, perhaps about Europe. Derby County as well. Middlesbrough, 1 point from 12. They're in free fall right now. The Hammers thumped this weekend. They've had better weeks, West Ham. Wimbledon down to 7th on the back of a 0-0 at White Hart Lane, but a good 0-0 for all that. Liverpool up into 6th, and the big guns are all massing now. Leeds ahead of them. Then it's the champions. Aston Villa, of course, can, in theory, go top. But in fact, a 5-goal win tomorrow night against Everton would take them top on the Monday Night Football. Manchester United up into 2nd, and at one point this weekend, they were top, with Chelsea drawing 1-1 at the Bridge. But the late winner from Di Matteo means that Chelsea stay top, 43 points played. The form guide right now doesn't make very good reading for the likes of Charlton or Forest. 19 games it is now since Nottingham Forest last had a win. Or Newcastle, look down there. 1 win from their last 6, 2 from 12 over that period of time. Coventry, the Howers, Everton, Southampton, familiar names down at the wrong end. A couple of weeks back, Wimbledon were the form team in the country, but guess what? It's all changing. United, the champions, Arsenal, Liverpool now, and Chelsea bang in form at the moment. And the Sky Sports graph. Charlton, remember, hit the top 2 games into the season. Newcastle had a little flurry around about September. They won 3 out of 4 and went up as high as 3rd, but it's been pretty hairy stuff ever since. Downward spiral for the both of them, Dave, since, hasn't it? Why Newcastle? We'll talk more in a moment, but what's happening there?
I mean, they've got a lot of quality players there. And again, it's when you are down at the bottom of a division, it's normally down to players not being consistent and playing as well as they can do. And I'm sure that's what Ruud's saying to his players now. You know, they've got to get that consistency, keep going, and show that they are worth, the money that they've certainly paid for some of the players that they've got.
Remember all the weekend's goals and Andy's angle on the talking points tomorrow night on the Monday Night Football when Villa play Everton. This afternoon it's Charlton and Newcastle, and George Gavin's got the teams. George.
A lot of changes in both teams, Richard. For Charlton, they have problems. Richard Rufus failed a fitness test earlier today. Neil Redfern is suspended, and they've dropped their goalkeeper, Sasha Ilic. For Newcastle, 6 changes from the defeat against Chelsea. They have 2 players suspended, Dieter Hamann and Shay Given. Andreas Andersson turned up today with a virus, and he's out. Ketsbaia is in. As Charlton then, Simon Royce, the former Southend keeper, makes his Premiership debut and his 150th career league appearance. Richard Rufus, who was sent off in the reverse fixture at the start of the season, failed a fitness test today on his injured foot. Carl Tyler returns in his place. Keith Jones replaces Redfern. Martin Pringle, a Swedish international on loan from Benfica, making his Premiership debut. Andy Hunt, alongside him, spent 2 years at Newcastle. And Newcastle, Steve Harper makes his third start for Newcastle. We saw him make his first in November against Middlesbrough. Laurent Charvet is dropped to the bench for the first time in the league this season. Didier Domi makes his second start, a £3.25 million buy from Paris Saint-Germain. Dabizas returns, so does Georgiadis. Gary Brady, the former Tottenham youngster, replaces the injured Stephen Glass. Up front, it's Temur Ketsbaia replacing Andreas Andersen and Alan Shearer. And Shearer needs some goals. He's in the worst spell of his career in the Premiership at the moment. No goals in 10 games.
That's an invitation if ever there was one. Thank you, George. We're in southeast London this afternoon, where they have a seafaring history in this part of the world. Canary Wharf, as we've seen, dominating the skyline in these parts. And the Dome, which I'm sure we shall see more of throughout the course of the afternoon. Charlton Athletic, who have done all sorts of work around the valley since they returned. There she is. They're opening the Millennium Suite today. And you can see the Dome out of the back of that window. After the break, Charlton's assistant manager on D-Day, which is surely coming.
If we go down, then no one can reproach themselves. If we stay up, we'll say, well, yeah, it's because we worked hard at the right times and we gave those sort of performances.
Start a new season of Premier League snooker on Tuesday night here on Sky Sports 1. The first match features the current Master champion Mark Williams, and he's up against Steve Davis. That's Premier League snooker Tuesday night, 8 o'clock here on Sky Sports 1. And this afternoon on a Super Sunday, it's Charlton against Newcastle. We've got a perfect day for showing off this part of London. That's the Maritime Museum, which I'm sure you must have heard about, and the Naval College away in the background, and of course dominating Canary Wharf. They've closed the Naval College, in fact, haven't they? And back in the Millennium Suite, they're enjoying themselves a glass of champagne and a boogie would be fair to say.
We're going to walk all that way. Here we go. Let's see you walk.
I hope they're enjoying that. David Jones, the manager of Southampton, is our guest this afternoon, and we'll talk in a moment or so. But right now we're going online with Charlton, who, as we've said, are right up against it at the moment. But back in the summer, things looked very different. Having already thrashed Southampton here at the Valley, their first away win came at Nottingham Forest. Eddie Youds got the game's only goal. They were 2-1 down to the Hammers with less than 20 minutes left. Danny Mills started the recovery. Hunt put them in front with 3 minutes to go. And Neil Redfern made absolutely certain in stoppage time. At that point, they were up to 9th. But then it started to go wrong. 2 goals from Tony Cottee at Leicester saw them go out of the Worthington Cup. And after 3 successive draws, they were thumped at Leeds. Harry Kewell had plenty of time to complete a 4-1 win for them. They lost the next 3, but were ready for Aston Villa here.
Southgate, the captain, over the head of Stan Collymore, but Dublin in behind him, keeps it in play. Oh, it's an own goal! What a terrible start for Charlton.
It was an early blow, and their luck didn't get any better. Robinson's effort was cleared off the line. Redfern went close. and Mills hit the woodwork. Game against Arsenal was a lively affair as well, especially when Patrick Vieira was sent off. But the 10 men went on to win the game. Mark Overmars with the penalty. After the match, Wenger accused Redfern of cheating. Alan Curbishley hit back, and eventually the FA stepped in. Meanwhile, Charlton had slipped into the drop zone. And there was no relief in the FA Cup. Kevin Davies and then Jason Wilcox put them out of Blackburn. Last weekend they had a vital match at the Dell. They were behind early on, but equalised before half-time through Hunt. And they were hanging on when Sasa Ilic allowed Patrick Collette's shot to slip past him. James Beattie made certain for Southampton. Looking bleak for Alan Curbishley right now. After 8 straight league defeats, they need to stop the rot fast. It's a record that they share with Manchester City, Palace and Ipswich. 9 would be a new Premiership record. In fact, they're 11 without a win. 3 points from 33 is their current haul. The last win, 4-2 here against West Ham, back on October the 24th. 9 from 27 points available here. 9 of their 13 goals have come in 2 games against Southampton and West Ham. Still no sign of Mendonca, who's out with a long-term injury. He's the top scorer with 6. Hunter's got 5, Redfern 3 and Youds 3, 2 of them in the league. 42 booked and 1 off. The average attendance approaching 20,000 now. That makes dreadful reading for them. The last 3, lost to Wimbledon 2-1, lost to Arsenal by a goal to 0, and lost at Southampton by 3 goals to 1. No Sasa Ilic, of course, today. He was the hero last May, but as Charlton have struggled recently, so too has he. George Gavin takes up the story.
The euphoria of a sunny Wembley and promotion through the playoffs now seems an eternity away for Charlton and hero goalkeeper Sasa Ilic. His penalty save from Sunderland's Michael Gray catapulted Charlton into the big time. But after equalling the club record of 9 consecutive clean sheets last year, he's become the Premiership's calamity keeper this season. Mervyn Day, Charlton's coach, went through the highs and lows in his career. An FA Cup winner with West Ham at 19, he was eventually forced to leave Upton Park to revive his fortunes.
I can draw a parallel with my own career, in all honesty. 30, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever, how many years ago. I was a little bit more fortunate, I suppose, in that I had 4 or 5 years. But then, you know, from being the sort of the darling of the press and the terraces, all of a sudden a few bad performances, and yeah, you get pilloried, and you've got to be able to take it. I think the one person that possibly had suffered a little bit has been Sasha in this particular run. He's a baby in terms of goalkeeping, and as we all know, goalkeepers tend to mature around about the 30 mark. But Sasha's 24, 25 now. He's not had the initial grounding in this country, so he's arguably learning his trade in the harshest media spotlight in the world.
Mervyn Day took Carlisle to Wembley Cup glory and promotion in the same season, before Michael Knighton surprisingly sacked him. Since then, he's moved his family back south again, to pick up his coaching career in London with Charlton, and to link up with another West Ham graduate, Alan Curbishley. Both believe relegation back to Division 1 can be avoided.
We've been quite heartened by some of the performances we've had, and the spirit and determination which is still at the club. You know, it's very easy. I've been at clubs where you can visibly see those two things draining away on the back of sort of poor performances. We haven't had that. You know, anybody who saw our previous live game against Villa, where we conceded an own goal in the first 3 minutes, and then Michael Oakes proceeds to be man of the match for the rest of the game, you know, I think we'll understand that that's what we're about, and if we can maintain that and reproduce that week in, week out to the end of the season, if we go down, then no one can reproach themselves. If we stay up, we'll say, well, yeah, it's because we worked hard at the right times and we gave those sort of performances.
And they're everybody's favourite, every neutral's favourite, aren't they, right now, Charlton Athletic, because they've come up with the right spirit, they've done the right things, but they're not getting the rewards he plenty thinks, Mervyn Day, that they should have at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, but in this game you make your own luck. I mean, that's what it all boils down to, really. Things seem to go against you when you're down the bottom. Every tackle, you know, if it's going to hit the post, it'll hit the post. If you're attacking, if they hit the post, it'll go in. But at the end of the day, it all comes back down to you make your own luck. And I spoke to Merv and Alan last week, and you know, they're disappointed with the keeper, but in the same breath, he also got them promotion as well. And you know, when a keeper's not having the best of times, it's how long you give him.
And he's an easy target, isn't he?
Yeah, and you've got to look at what's in front of him also as well. And it's easy just to concede goals and just blame the keeper. But they've got to get past 10 people before they get to him. So you've got to look at it that way.
But when you came here and the sun was shining at the start of the season, were there signs then that they were going to struggle, or did you think it might be okay for Charlton this year?
I think it was all new to them, and it's a case of they were playing at their limit. Every player was playing at the limit. And then to lose the likes of Mendonca for a long time, you know, it's similar to us. Clubs like ourselves can't afford to lose the quality players that you've got. And when you lose them for a length of time, you know, and you haven't got the finances to go out and spend 7 or 8 million on a top quality striker, it then becomes difficult. And if you start losing more than 2 or 3 players for a long time, then life becomes very, very difficult. And I think that's what's happening to Charlton at the moment.
Is there time enough, or is it a lost cause for anybody yet? Are there enough games left?
For Charlton, there's enough games left, yeah. I mean, you know, I hope it's us, and I mean, I'd love Alan and ourselves to get out, of course I would. Why there's still enough points there, you've got to get your players to believe that it is possible to do that.
But that's easier said than done, isn't it?
Of course it is.
When you're coming on the back of 8 straight defeats, I mean, what on earth does Alan Curbishley say to them about today?
I mean, you've got to keep going, and it's hard as a coach and a manager to go in every day. You're the first one the players will see. You're the first one who's got to have a smile on your face, and you've got to keep it going. You've got to make sure the training's enjoyable for them, and keep working at the problems that you think you've got. But if you give up, I mean, the players are going to give up, and you've got to keep going. And
players sense that, do they?
Of course they do. And I know Alan, I know Merv really well, and they won't give up, you know, as we won't, and a lot of other clubs that are down there as well.
We are at the Valley, the new Valley, I suppose you could call it. They've done such a good job on the rebuilding of the stadium here. Close by, as you can see, all the familiar landmarks in this part of the world. The Thames Barrier in the foreground there, and there's more yet. So it's Charlton Athletic and Newcastle United this afternoon. Newcastle, incidentally, have lost their last 3. They are in free fall as well, and they've got to start thinking positively, or they're going to be in trouble.
A lot of good players were sold, and they didn't get the same quality back. So I'm stuck with that, and I have to change it again.
The one-day international triangular cricket series continues next week on Sky Sports 2 as usual. It's an early start, Tuesday morning from 3:30. England take on Australia, and on Thursday morning, again at 3:30, it's Sri Lanka against Australia. That's international cricket next week on Sky Sports 2. This afternoon, it's a Super Sunday at the Valley with Charlton and Newcastle United. Dave Jones is with us this afternoon. We'll talk about Newcastle shortly. Right now, here's Alan Curbishley with George Gavin.
Alan, yesterday's results went for you in a sense. Can you take advantage?
Oh, let's hope so. I mean, it's got to change for us, George. I think that if anyone's seen us over the last couple of months in this run, we haven't deserved what's happened to us, but you can't lie and look at the results, and we can't keep bemoaning our luck and everything that goes with it. We've got to get a result, and hopefully it'll be today.
4 home games in succession, Alan. Is it important you start today?
Of course it does. I think, you know, you look at the 4, Man United, Liverpool, Wimbledon. You know.
Easy ones?
But none of them are easy. I mean, we're just a tougher game up at Southampton as I should imagine we'll have today. We just need to get, as most people down the bottom there, you need a lift, and we need a lift.
I know you've been saying confidence isn't low, but you've replaced your goalkeeper. Is that because his confidence was lower than the rest?
Yeah, I think that he's obviously come under pressure. When I'm saying with confidence isn't low, I'm talking about in terms of the team effort and the performances. But Sasha's had a problem with a couple of the games. You know, he's been at fault, and it's time for a rest. And that's what I've said to him. He needs a rest, and hopefully Simon will come in and take up the mantle, because he's been desperate to come inside. And there's quite a few changes today, you know, enforced. So let's hope it gives us that lift that we're looking for.
Yes, and Martin Pringle up front, do you think he can make an impact in the Premiership?
Yeah, I think that he's got some qualities which we could do with, and the main one is that he's unaffected by what's happened to us over the last couple of months, and I just hope one hits him on the nose and goes in. You know, that's what we need to give us a bit of a lift. And the problem we've had is that whenever we have had a little bit of a lift, we've thrown it away straight away. So we need to get a lift and hold on to it for a little while.
Good luck, Alan.
Okay.
We haven't seen too much of Charlton because they've been locked in a team meeting, Dave, so everything we were discussing, probably Alan Curbishley has been putting to his boys over the last half hour.
Yeah, I mean, as Alan said, you know, you can't keep him on in your luck, but he'll have him fired up today. With the results the way they went yesterday, and it's a big incentive for his players. But they've got a hard game today because Newcastle, as you said, are in a similar sort of run. They need a lift, and you know, as we spoke about before, I'd be quite happy if it was 0-0.
0-0, no points. That would suit you rather nicely, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, I would think so, yeah.
Let's talk about Newcastle. We're going back to September here when Ruud Gullit took over and started a mini revival. Shearer got them on the way to their third successive win. This one came against Nottingham Forest. And that put them up to third, their best position for more than a year. They went out of Europe and then won only 1 out of 5 in the league. West Ham beat them at St James's Park. Perez was sent off there, and then the Hammers ran riot. Ian Wright got 2 of their 3. And they lost in the Worthington Cup to Blackburn. 1-1 at full time, it went to penalties. Aaron Hughes missed. David Dunn won it for Rovers. Only a draw with Sheffield Wednesday meant they were desperate for something when they went to Goodison, live on the Monday Night Football.
And the referee points to the spot.
Gullit wasn't happy.
I'm very frustrated because you sit down on the bench and you think like, nah, we're never going to score a goal, never. There were some moments with Keith Gillespie on the right side, give some good crosses, but there's nobody there who gives us power, who can head a ball, who can win a header there. So how can you score goals? It's impossible.
Now they were down to 14th, but the next day he got his wish. Duncan Ferguson was signed from Everton for £7 million. And he was in the side to play Wimbledon. He got 2. This one put them in front. And his second in the last minute wrapped up the points. This was their first league win since mid-October. The revolution continued off the pitch. David Batty went back to Leeds. And Gillespie joined Blackburn. But Gullit came under fire during the Christmas period. Where was he? Then it was Leeds at St James's Park. And they tore them apart. We've seen some great games at Anfield down the years, and this was no exception. Roberto Solano put Newcastle ahead.
The Solano! He's drilled it past David James.
But straight from the restart, Dieter Hamann picked up his second booking. So he was off. But Newcastle came again and got a second.
Here's Andreas Anderson. Out comes James Anderson. Has scored. And the 10-men lead by 2 goals to 0.
Owen got one back, and then Riedler controversially equalised. Owen got his second, then Riedler made it safe.
And Liverpool have surely won it now.
A week later in the Cup, there was more controversy. This time, Shay Given was sent off. And Crystal Palace capitalised. Lee Bradbury put them ahead. Gary Speed equalised, and then Shearer put Newcastle into the next round. Last time out, Gullit was up against his old club, Chelsea. Didier Domi made his debut. And the Geordies piled on the pressure in the opening stages. But Dan Petrescu got the points for Chelsea. With only 6 league wins so far, Gullit would love something here today. Go back to December 1997, they've won only 10 of 46 games over that period. Won 3 out of 4, of course, when Gullit took over initially, but it's 2 out of 12 since. Wimbledon and Leicester at home. They've lost 3 in a row now. Scored only 2 and conceded 8 in that time. 2 points worse off now than they were at this same stage last season. 1 win away from home, 5-1 at Coventry. They are 7 without a win since. 5 out of their 10 goals, of course, came in that 1 game. Shearer's the top scorer with 9. Dabizas has got 4. Stephen Glass 3. 29 booked and 3 off. And the last 3 league games, they lost to Leeds 3-0, lost to Liverpool by 4 goals to 2, and lost to Chelsea 1-0. So is Ruud Gullit beginning to feel the pressure? Well, it would appear not. Jeff Shreves has been speaking to him.
My job was to come here and to change a whole lot of things, because they were not happy about what's happening here. Most difficult part is to get players out and also to get players in. Most difficult thing is to get players out, because on a human basic it's very difficult. You have to tell players that they are not good enough, or that players have to go for a financial reason, or for attitude, or whatever, skills. And that's very hard, because you have to hurt people, and not everyone is taking it as well. But we need other quality. The good thing is also that the board realized that also, but was very cautious in the beginning, because of the previous managers who spent £90 million. And they backed him all the way. A lot of good players were sold, and they didn't get the same quality back. So I'm stuck with that, and I have to change it again.
With so much chopping and changing on the field, there's been talk of a split dressing room. But Gullit insists that Newcastle are united.
Of course, as a coach, you hear things, but I think it's exaggerated. And I think also that if there are problems, you have to keep that in the locker room, if you want to resolve that. And I think it's not wise for players to go out of there. And I think that is the wrong decision. They made the wrong decision to do that.
If you've got it wrong in the locker room, you won't get it right on the pitch. Presumably you agree with that.
Oh yeah, if that was true, then it is very difficult to get it right on the pitch. But that is where but I don't think that is the issue at this moment. I think it's also, you miss a lot of confidence because you don't win in games. You're playing well. A whole lot of games you played quite well, but you didn't get the result that you deserve. Okay, we have to work, so now we have to think about, okay, the football just forget it in the beauty of the game and get just the points. So that's where we're going for now.
So right now, points are the priority, and Gullit emphatically denies he ever promised the Toon Army anything else.
I said it once that I wanted to see some sexy football. And all of a sudden, because it was new, it was sort of trademark. It was like a stamp on me. But I never said that. Of course I'm not going to say that. It would be stupid to say that.
OK, let me ask you a question. Would you like to bring sexy football to Newcastle?
No, I would like to play sufficient football. Because sexy football can be very nice and very beautiful. But you don't get much result out of it. Because you play only for the beauty of it. You have to play for the result and also with the good football. But it has to be with a certain reason that you do certain things. Not just for the beauty of it.
How worried are you about relegation?
I'm not. No.
You're getting drawn in though. You're getting drawn into the bottom, and it's a scrap down there.
It's also easy to get out again.
You're not concerned you're getting pulled to the wrong end of the table?
No.
So he's unfazed about the league position, but surely he must be concerned about the goal drought Alan Shearer's going through right now.
No, he gets a lot of attention, whatever he does. That is also what he has on his shoulder. So if he doesn't perform, you're getting hammered. And if you perform, you are the hero. That is reality of being what you are. It's the same with me. If I win, then everything is thanks to you. If you lose, it's also thanks to you.
Dave Jones, the Southampton boss, is with us this afternoon. A wry smile watching that. Is that a fellow that's never been at the bottom end and had to scrap his way out of trouble, Dave? Easy to get out?
It mightn't be as easy as he thinks. But Newcastle's problems they got aren't my problems. But Ruud will have rude awakening if he thinks it's going to be easy, because when it's now teams are really fighting and scrapping, and certainly Newcastle standards and what the expectations are there are far greater than a lot of other clubs, and he's got to turn his players around and really fight and scrap. And it doesn't matter what type of football you play, whether it be good looking or bad looking, as long as you get the results at the end.
Well, I think that's what he's suggesting, isn't it? It's not sexy football, it would appear, that he's after anymore, but sufficient football. So what is that?
Winning games, I would say. Not losing games. But it doesn't matter how you put it, what words you use. Now, this stage of the season, it's all about how many games you win, how many points you pick up, and how far you climb up that table. And it's true, when you're down at the bottom, everybody seems to say that there's trouble in dressing rooms and everything else. And it's crazy. They're always looking for something else. What it all boils down to is you're not winning enough games, and you've got to get the best out of the players that you've got, and that's what Ruud's got to do.
Now, which way round is it? Is Shearer not contributing to Newcastle's problems, or are the problems that Newcastle have not helping Alan Shearer right now? No goals in 10.
You say that, and you've probably upset a lot of Charlton fans today, because that's the worst thing you can say. Strikers are like goalkeepers, and they play on confidence. And I remember going up to Newcastle this season, and Alan Shearer hadn't scored for a few games, and he was in the worst drought of his career and everything else, and then he goes and scores a hat-trick. And that's the type of player he is. You give him the service, and he'll put the ball in the back of the net.
So basically it's service. We're not suggesting there's anything long-term or deeply wrong with Alan Shearer.
Well, I don't know the ins and outs of what's going on at Newcastle, but I do know Alan Shearer is a player that you give him the quality ball, and he will put the ball in the back of the net. And I think that's what it's they need to do. And Ruud's trying to change and bring players in and everything else, and it just takes time. And but it will not be easy.
Well, you might recall 2 years back, Newcastle United were here at the Valley. It was a game memorable for many reasons. The FA Cup tie that finished 1 apiece, but it was also Kevin Keegan's last in charge of Newcastle.
Was he pulled back by turns away. Shearer looking for Lee. He's going to get another chance. Lee! Peacock's ball beautifully delivered for Peter Beardsley. Kinsella can shoot from long range. He can!
You woke up this morning to see, maybe you haven't seen that some of these headlines.
I'm here to talk about the game. You know the guy who wrote that. End of story.
See you again.
See you now.
Prophetic words. Was the end of the story, wasn't it, for Kevin Keegan? 0-0 earlier this season when they met up at St James's Park on the opening day. Richard Rufus, of course, sent off early in that game. Charlton have lost only one of the last 10, and they've won 6, going back to 1988. So there's been regular games, but not in the top league. They last met here at the Valley 15 years ago in the old second division, April '84. Newcastle won it 3-1. Beardsley, Waddle and McDermott the goal scorers, and Kevin Keegan actually played in that game. We've got a drummer this afternoon, as you can probably hear. Time to go time. Let's go join our match commentators, Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
We've got a public address system here, Richard.
It's slow.
Andy, can you relate to the Alan Shearer situation? 10 Premiership games without a goal?
Yeah, I can, Martin. I mean, I think the year we won the title at Everton, '85, I went, I think, 12 games, league games, and didn't get a goal. In fact, you commentated on the game when I did finally break into it at Leicester, away at Leicester in a tricky game. The one thing I would say that Alan Curbishley will be hugely worried about is the longer someone like Alan Shearer goes without a goal, the more worried I would be if I was the boss of the next side I was playing against, because it's going to come, and you know that. And Alan Curbishley will just be hoping that today is another one before he scores on that run, because once Alan scores, I think he will go on some sort of run.
Just to give you a sketch of Shearer quality, Robbie Fowler got his 100 Premiership goals yesterday, 175 games. Alan Shearer did it in 124. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's incredible. The lad is quality, and I agree with David Jones there. If you give him service, proper service, he will score goals.
To the teams, the goalkeeping situation, the main issue in Charlton's team selection. Sasha Ilic has paid the price for some costly errors, so opportunity beckons for Simon Royce, who came here in the summer from Southend United. Richard Rufus failed a fitness test this morning, so Carl Tyler and Eddie Youds play in the centre of defence in midfield. Keith Jones, once at Chelsea, fills the vacancy caused by Neil Redfern's suspension. Swedish international striker Martin Pringle makes his home debut and his first start after a 20-minute stint as a substitute at Southampton last weekend.
Well, Alan Curbishley goes 4-4-2 today. And I think the one thing this side has and has shown is spirit, commitment, drive and desire. It's pretty well balanced all over. I think Mills and Newton do balance up pretty well down that right side. And if Sean Newton is on form, he can trouble any side. And the left side, Chris Powell and John Robinson do the same sort of job down the left-hand side. But Alan knows that Youds and Tyler have got to play well today. And Royce. This is a test for the lad in goal here. Sasha Ilic, I think it's a wise decision to leave him out. But then Simon Royce has got to come in and play well. Now all those have got to play well and keep it as clean sheet as possible. The one down is Redfern's absence, I think, Martin, because I don't know which one of these two, Jones or Kinsella, will actually get forward. We know Redfern's got a great goal-scoring pedigree from midfield, and I just think that they might miss that. So it'll be interesting to see which one of those gets forward. And we'll look, see what like Pringle and Hunt, what kind of partnership they can form, because they'll have to do it and do it quickly.
Continuity is an elusive commodity for Newcastle at the moment. 2 suspensions, Shay Given and Dietmar Hamann. Injury ruins what would have been a sentimental return to the Valley for Rob Lee. Stephen Glass is also unfit, and Louis Saha. But Didier Domi, Ruud Gullit's other recent recruit from France, does play. In today, Steve Harper in goal. Warren Barton and Nikolaos Dabizas return to the defence. In midfield, in come Georgiadis and Gary Brady, who had a taste of the Premiership with Tottenham, and a late call-up for Tamor Ketsbaia. Andreas Andersen currently on a train back to Newcastle after feeling ill this morning.
Well, you're never sure not only who's going to play, Mark, but what system Ruud Gullit is going to play. It was 3 at the back last week, but this week, today he's decided to go like for like with a back 4 in. Barton on the right-hand side will get up and help Solano. Domi, likewise with Brady. And the one thing that does, it does give them decent width to provide service for this man here. Now, if they can get the ball high enough up the pitch on either side and produce crosses into the box that Shearer can feed on, then I think that's a big advantage to them. In midfield, Georgiadis and Speed, we know Gary Speed, he'll get forward, he'll bomb forward, and also running forward. If they want to angle any balls in there, then I tell you what, he ain't bad alongside Shearer in the air. Again though, they're looking for these two, Howey and Dabizas, and particularly Harper again, to keep it tight, keep it neat, and I just think they'd be happy with pinch it with 1 goal, Ruud Gullit.
Well, the eye is firmly on the present today for Alan Curbishley in dealing with the senior team, but he's got time to supervise the signing of the first member of the new academy here, first new recruit for the new academy, 14-year-old Stacey Long, currently at school in nearby Bromley. Wonder whether we'll be running those pitches in a few years' time. Let's hope he makes the grade. Good luck to young Stacey. He's made the grade. Newcastle and Charlton cross swords at a critical stage of the season for both clubs. Valiant Alan Curbishley's men certainly have been. Simon Royce, he's a chirpy character, but that chirpiness will be put to the test in his Premiership debut. Charlton have really let themselves down in terms of their application to their task, but productivity from their performances has come to a full stop, with the possibility of 4 successive home games to come starting here. That productivity has to begin again now. Newcastle's growth as a public company has done little to produce dividends where it matters most of all, on the pitch. Their last 46 league games have produced only 10 wins. And this from a club that had sparkled in the Premiership in the 2 previous seasons and twice finished runners-up. You really can't overestimate the importance of this game. It is vital at the Valley for both Charlton and Newcastle. It comes up live after the break.
Well, something's got to give here this afternoon on a Super Sunday. It's Charlton Athletic against Newcastle United. Our match commentators Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thank you, Richard. Well, the goalkeeper's very much in the limelight today. Premiership appearance number 1 for Simon Royce, who's reached this level via non-league Heybridge Swifts and Southend United. Steve Harper has already this season shown himself to be a most capable stand-in for Shay Given, and he played at the Valley last season when he was on loan at Huddersfield Town. Nottingham Forest, the 1 club below Charlton, lost yesterday. So too did the 3 immediately above them. But the shortcomings of others will not save them. They have to halt a slide that has already equalled 1 unwanted Premiership record. 8 successive defeats. Hunt, who had a couple of years with Newcastle, getting the game underway. He's got Martin Pringle on loan from Benfica as his striking partner. Here is Pringle. Alan Shearer has got Ketsbaia as his ally. The referee is Peter Jones.
Pity he brought that back, Martin. He actually stopped a pretty good little move from Charlton. They worked the ball quite beautifully. Did them no favours pulling it back. I'll tell you what, there's nothing wrong with the atmosphere in this ground.
Well, there's not much wrong with the ground itself. It's a great credit to Charlton Athletic. After those years of exile, it was something of a footballing miracle to get the club back to the Valley. Since then, it's been redeveloped. It's very compact.
The interest to see how both teams start. And certainly if I was Alan Curbishley, I'd try to set the team out and play quickly, get the ball forward as quickly as possible.
Georgiadis just carrying it a bit far, and the interception by Chris Powell. Shearer. Ketsbaia. Poorly dealt with though by the Charlton captain Mark Kinsella. Scoring goals, or the inability to score goals, has really hurt Charlton. Four in these 8 games, but here's Sean Newton trying to carve out something early on here, and in the end he put the ball within the reach of Steve Harper.
Well, that's what I mean about Newton if he's on form, because I'll tell you what, Dabizas is no slouch, Martin, but he just shoved it past him and he's away. And I tell you what, honesty there, an awful lot of players would have gone down and might well have gotten a penalty, but Newton decided to stay on his feet. 3 players in the box, all strung along the 6-yard box. That was a decent little interception from Harper.
He's had no sort of season really, Sean Newton, by the standards that I'm sure you're right, but you set for him, Andy, and he sets for himself. Player of whom great things were expected when Charlton got promotion. He's had injuries. He's really done himself justice on a regular basis, but that was the most promising beginning for him in this game. He's there ahead of Mills. Jones. Well, there's a space in the centre there, and could have gone either to Pringle or to Hunt. The flag has gone up, but Steve Howey having to do a bit of pointing and organising here.
But Dabizas got lost, Martin, it's as simple as that. There's a great opportunity. Look at Dabizas, he's way out here, down here, miles away from the other centre-half, absolutely marking no one. And Howey just quickly saying, hey, have a little look around. But this is exactly the type of start that I thought Alan Curbishley would set his team out. Get the ball down, not pass it too much, get it forward, get Pringle, get Hunt in the game quickly, and if we can get it wide, then put some service in, and that's the important thing.
Powell Tyler doing enough to put Shearer off, but Powell giving the ball straight back to Alan Shearer. Charlton's throw. Alan Curbishley, his achievements here valued far too highly for there to be any calls for his head, but I'm sure for his personal pride, nothing else, he wants to get out of this slide starting today. Remember that Charlton Athletic were so close to extinction. Those who run the club these days say they'll never allow that to happen again. That's why it's not a policy of spending big in these circumstances. Adopt a Premiership or bust policy. We've been too close to that particular brink before. Newton couldn't keep it in. It really has been a lovely day here in southeast London. Plenty of sunshine. The rain that fell heavily in London through a Friday night has happily abated. Who wants a winter break when you get weather like this in January?
Me.
Yeah, but you're soft.
I know.
And the Scottish fans who want to come down and watch football in England will be very welcome.
Oh, unlucky. Timed the run brilliantly, John Robinson. Linesman quite rightly kept the flag down. There's no way he's offside. The player's coming back all right, but he's not interfering, taking no interest. Almost got in contact with the ball.
Climbed by Carl Tyler. Ketsbaia, Shearer. Anyway, what sort of winter break is it when these Scottish teams are going off playing games all over the world?
We're mad. We Scots. But you're right what you said, talking about this game, Martin. This is a massive game for both clubs. I think Newcastle, if they lose today, really are sucked into it. Right down there, involved.
Off comes Howey, arms down by his side. No appeals from the Charlton players. That's what the supporters were hoping for. Georgiadis gets it back from Shearer. And carry speed. Pringle eagerly intercepting and charging on ahead of Kinsella. They're well represented on the right, Charlton, at the moment. Who's in the centre, though, for them? If the cross comes in from Newt, he makes a bit of space for himself. Isn't the right sort of end product, but Newton goes in with the header. Touch from Pringle. This is John Robinson!
Well, they finally got it in. The second attempt from Newton didn't do well with the cross. But when it came back out, I mean, this goes inside, and this is where you've got to deliver. That's a poor cross, and that's an even worse clearance. But they kept the pressure up. A little touch from Pringle. I thought he'd lost it because I thought he chested it too close to Warren Barton. But he still was able to hit it a little bit high when he caught it. He'd have liked it to have dropped another foot. But the pressure from Barton meant he had to take it early, Robinson.
Free kick has gone against Charlton. Carl Tyler again committing absolutely everything to win it in the air. Shearer never got off the ground. It's a year to the day, incidentally, that Alan Shearer came back from that awful ankle injury that kept him out for so long. And for the most part, apart from a hamstring strain, it's been a year in which he's been playing throughout, including, of course, the World Cup. Just the goals that haven't been happening for him, particularly in away games. Just scored in one away game in the league for Newcastle in the last 12 months. That was Newcastle's only Premiership away win this season. At Coventry got on target there. Comes off Kinsella. Youds with a bit of a heavy touch. Almost took it behind for the corner, but he prevented that. Youds, who's got top-level experience Everton and at Ipswich. Ordered rather nervously there by Didier Domi.
Certainly had time just to put his foot in it, didn't he? He stabbed at it. I don't think either of these sides is actually brimming full of confidence, Martin. Both the runs that both are on. But there's enough talent out there to suggest that they can stand up and be counted. And put the foot on it and play a bit of football. Certainly the home side have started brightly.
In the air. Steve Harper, incidentally, has asked us to speak out for him. There have been some clerical errors about his date of birth. Various ages have been suggested, but in fact, he is only 23. I would like that to be known. And I don't blame him when it was said earlier that he was 28. That's some years off his career. Speed, and that's not too far away.
Great hit. Again, it's going to have to be something special from this sort of range, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with the touch and the hit. Just sets it and hits it and one. I think Simon Royce has got this covered. He goes over quickly, the goalkeeper. Had it been on target, you see him quite comfortable and letting it go wide.
By Hunt.
Brady mostly appeared in his first team games for Tottenham as a right-sided midfield player, but Newcastle have been working this week to use him on the left. That's where he started the game. Hunt. Georgiadis. Warren Barton back in the team today. Just signed a new contract with the club. Shearer taking on Carl Tyler with great pace. Ketsbaia trying to get there, but Danny Mills was always leading that race. Having got there first, he still had to make what was an awkward clearance.
Well, there's nothing wrong with touching the pace of Alan Shearer here. One touch round the corner here and he's away after it. And I tell you what, he's as good as any front man you'll see delivering balls from wide right.
Barton playing it in wide right that time.
It's almost as if he says, that's the kind of cross I want, lads. Now, if I can get in the middle, can somebody get out here and play that ball in for me?
Newcastle feel they haven't had the best of luck in these 3 successive league defeats, especially at Anfield, where they were worthily a goal to the good, and then Harman was sent off. Went 2 up with 10 men, caved in late on. Powell looking for Hunt. Mendonca, whose goals did so much to get Charlton promoted, is still injured. Steve Jones also, and Bradley Allen. We haven't seen too much of him this season. That's why Martin Pringle was summoned from Portuguese football. Bright is still around. He's a substitute today. Robinson, the Welsh international. Mark Kinsella, a Republic of Ireland international. Powell. Hunt. Domi, signed from Paris Saint-Germain. It's a permanent transfer. Brady. Now Barton. Solano ahead of him. And Georgiadis as well. World League of Nations Newcastle team today.
An interesting team talk, just as well as multilingual, the manager, isn't it?
Effectively by Shearer. Ketsbaia didn't get there. And Shearer just turned away in disappointment. I'm sure he was looking forward hugely to developing his partnership with Duncan Ferguson, who came off at Anfield with a groin injury that's required surgery. Robinson hounding Barton.
He did well, man. That's the difference, you know, when you hound someone like that, but you don't commit yourself to tackle and give a free kick away. You just kept the pressure on, and you've won a throw-in high up the pitch.
Hunt. Who would have been in behind Warren Barton if he hadn't reached that. It's another lovely knock from Shearer. He's looking very sharp. That could be ominous for Charlton. Ketsbaia has a go for goal, and Newcastle United lead after 14 minutes. Taimur Ketsbaia called in pretty late on to replace Andreas Andersen, who was taken ill, and Ketsbaia has put a shot here beyond Simon Royce to give Newcastle the lead.
Well, it's just a clearance from Warren Barton. He's not looking to pick out anyone, but a lovely knock down. But they back away, not that far. It goes through the legs of Eddie Youds. How often you see that? Defenders think they're big, through the legs into the bottom corner. Really well struck shot from Ketsbaia. Was always going to give Royce a problem.
So Charlton are behind again, the side that find goal scoring so difficult. Need even more to cultivate some firepower from somewhere.
And games like this as well, when they're tight, tense like this, and points at a premium, you just think that you look at both ends of the pitch and you see Shearer and Ketsbaia, and you just wonder if that was going to be the difference, the ability to get a chance to finish it.
It's just doing enough to stop Ketsbaia getting within shooting range again. But no surprise there was a sure touch from Shearer in the build-up to that goal, because he has begun this match very brightly indeed. Goalkeeper's come a long way. He's read the play. He's now got to get back. Kinsella to Pringle. Jones is there. Newcastle winning the early midfield battles though. Brady. Plenty of pace, Danny Mills. witnessed the reverse of the fixture on the opening Saturday of the Premiership season. And Charlton began their Premiership life very proudly, drawing 0-0 at St James's Park. They played around an hour of that game with 10 men. Richard Rufus, who's missing today with injury, was sent off in a clash with Dabizas. Of course, that was the last home game in charge of Newcastle for Kenny Dalglish. Ruud Gullit's men a bit between their teeth here, fortified by an early goal. Brady, Ketsbaia, straight back at Charlton through Howey. Good hold up play by Shearer, but maybe not quite giving Brady the chance to collect the ball in behind the defenders. Pringle took it on well. A bit of foul, but referee letting the game go, and Charlton taking advantage of that. Heath Jones is given offside.
I think he was actually looking for Powell's run more than anything with the ball, but Hunt had decided to go in there. He just goes in a bit early. Not a lot in it. I don't know whether Chris Powell would have been given offside, but Hunt just straight in. Normally you'd look at a side on a run like this, Mark, and you think, well, this is a test for them. One down, will the heads go down, will they drop? But having seen Charlton quite a few times recently, the one thing you do know is that their heads don't drop. They went down very early in the game against Aston Villa here.
Even earlier than today.
Yeah, to a cruel own goal. Really tested Villa for the rest of the game.
Mills. Thanks for Howey to clear. Ketsbaia did very well to control that in the first place. Newcastle get the throw. Ketsbaia recently declared that he wouldn't represent his country, Georgia, again. It's a fallout with the Georgian coach. Always had the chance to represent his club with the chopping and changing. He's made an impact here in London this afternoon already. Charlton's return of 16 points from their first 13 Premiership games was encouraging. But 8 games later, they're still stuck on 16.
He's probably thinking as well, Mark, Alan Curbishley, if he looks back on the season, that they've done a lot different to those first matches, and yet absolutely no return.
We saw West Ham get a real walloping at Old Trafford last Sunday. Although Charlton got beaten there by the same score, it wasn't the same sort of game, and they really haven't been on the receiving end of the performances of the match as one-sided as that one was. Brady with plenty of room for the cross. Drops here for Gary Speed for Newcastle. Domi. Shearer was calling for it, he's angry. Wasn't chipped in to attack in the air. It's kicked by Newton. Brady now looking for Shearer. Out comes Royce.
That was a better cross. Cross has not been good in the match from either side at the moment. That at least gave Shearer an opportunity to put the keeper under a bit of pressure.
Howey.
Just not quite enough on it. I think Tyler just is enough in front of him. A little jam between both of them. It's a comfortable save in the end. But he made it his, Steve Howey.
Newton, after Hunt got a touch. That's a well-timed tackle by Dabizas. Charlton have a corner.
Nice little break this. Newton decided to take a little gamble in at the back of Andy Hunt. Hunt won the touch.
Barton. It's a defensive head to it for Newcastle. Danger not away yet, though. Barton rather backpedaling. Good anticipation by Hunt. Jones can't get the cross in, and it's Barton doing the defending again. It's a man-hand ball.
Well, he's obviously got a long throw. The big boys, the centre-backs, stayed up near post.
Youds, Tyler in there. Kinsella coming in.
Well, there's nothing wrong with their attitude, the commitment, and even the desire. And they're working the ball, they're getting it in there. What they've not had is so often happens when you're down there and you're on this sort of run. Has anything really dropped for them?
Well, I mentioned they got 4 goals in their last 8 league games, 9 games if you include a FA Cup defeat as well at Blackburn, and 3 of those were wonder goals. The other was a penalty, so bread and butter's not really on the Charlton menu, is it?
No, there was an awful lot dropped in there when they played Villa, Mark, in that live game, and so often dropped to a Villa defender. But that's why you just got to keep working. You've got to just believe that it will change. Newcastle have played pretty well, I have to say. Defended quite well, and what they have done is broke very well. And they've been defending deep. Ketsbaia, and you mentioned Shearer looking sharp, but so does Ketsbaia.
Goalkeeper looking sharp as well with his footwork. Howey. Speed into Shearer. Domi. Feed it in. Danny Mills is quick. England under 21 player.
Well, you mentioned Shearer, he did play a part in the goal. Again, it was just a lot. Look at the pressure he's under. He's not looking, he's not picking out Alan Shearer, but it was a beautiful little header. And I think that, you know, as they back off and Eddie Youds backs off, he's probably thought, I've got this covered. It's through his legs, bottom corner. Keeper's got no chance.
Kinsella gets it back from Newton. Dabizas coming into the wide position again, and assistant referee flagging.
Yeah, he's upset Kinsella, but that's what happens if you go and tackle. That's what I was saying about not giving a free kick. They've got Dabizas going absolutely nowhere. The ball's not going to run out. So just hold. Just stop him from turning. He doesn't do an awful lot wrong there, Mark Kinsella, to be totally honest, Mark. And how the linesman's flagging, God only knows. It's so important not to take the pressure off by giving an easy free kick there.
Shearer to Ketsbaia. Georgiadis. And now Barton. And some tracking back and preventing the corner. Quick thinking by Barton with the throw, and he's got Newcastle a corner now. It's a match, should Newcastle lose it, their fans would be extremely worried, but at the moment they'll be thinking maybe of the rarity of an away win in the Premiership. Domi. Having a look. And then taking too long. Be able to fault to Charlton for lack of industry, and there's Andy Hunt setting the standards down again. It was a forward tackle.
It was a little theatrical as well, Martin, I think, from Dabizas. It looked a lot worse than it was. It was a little lunge, but I don't think there was an awful lot of contact.
And some of the Charlton fans might remember that it was Dabizas involved in Richard Rufus sending off August up at St James's Park. sympathetic for him there. Seen as Shearer backing in.
Well, it is his trademark, Alan. He does it as well as any centre forward in the country. I always thought Mark Hughes in his prime was probably the master of that, backing into centre backs, using his body weight and strength, earning so many free kicks, and Alan's taken that on now. He does it as part of his game, a big part of it. More often than not gets the free kick, but not that time.
Chris Powell, who played plenty of Premiership games for Derby County, regular for the best part of 2.5 years. It was a little bit of a surprise, I think, even to the player himself, that they accepted Charlton's bid. Between Shearer and Ketsbaia again. Barton. And there's no flag, and it's Ketsbaia. Mills decided to let it go, and it was a wise decision. He looked to play it. There was a real danger of an own goal. Domi, Brady, and now speed. Might have gone up in any case.
Oh, what a chance that was, Martin, for Ketsbaia just to roll Solano in if he wanted. They got away with it. They sprung the trap. Looked very, very close as to whether one or both of them was offside, but had he just taken his time, my goodness, that would have been 2-0.
24th, the last time Charlton won. Here against West Ham, and they were in danger of losing that. It was a real late rally that turned it around. And looking for something similar here. Hunt, challenged by Dabizas. Nothing doing from the referee. Robinson asking a lot of Powell. Got back to sort it out. The ball has now gone out.
Well, we can have a little look at that chance, and it was a glorious chance. They just play, they're under trouble here, and what they're going to do, both players are going to make the runs in here, and they do spring it, but just watch Ketsbaia, man. Look at this, take your time. Look at Solano coming in, Brady coming in. If he picks one out, surely it would have been 2-0.
Well, I don't know if Danny Mills knew what was behind him or not.
I think he had a little look. I think it was really good defending that.
That's good defending by Domi for Newcastle. Quite able to pick out Shearer with the pass. Oh, John Gregory here today, because Aston Villa, of course, haven't played yet over the weekend. They're in action in our Monday night match at home to Everton. A chance with a win to go level on points with Chelsea. They would go above them if they beat Everton by 5. I'm sure Walter Smith's side will be doing their utmost to make sure that doesn't happen. Now Pringle. And it goes off the goalkeeper, who was trying to control it, but there was a turn of pace there from Martin Pringle.
He's quick, Martin. I think he's very, very quick. As I've said before, Dabizas is pretty quick, but again, he was really struggling to defend it. He dealt with it, but only just. That ball had a bit more pace on it. Pringle might have just nicked in front of him.
Robinson trying to get the better of Barton. He held him off.
Bit of blood there. I think he probably gets caught here as he tries to get around, but I don't think there's anything deliberate there. It's people put arms out to protect themselves, make it difficult for people to get round you, and that's what Warren Barton did there. I don't think there's any intent in catching Johnny Robinson.
Maybe a bit of dental work required. Well, Teemu Ketsbaia hasn't always had the opportunity, he would say, to produce on a regular basis for Newcastle. He came into English football with a good record in the international game with Georgia, an established star in his own country. He was playing club football in Greece. He's actually celebrated a bit more spectacularly than that at times in the past, but
yes,
usually at home.
But he has done well. I have to say, he's had a good half hour. Ketsbaia along with Shearer.
Plenty of Dabizas at the back as well. Martin Pringle, one or two English clubs have looked at. Finally gets the chance to play in this country. Will be one possible target here, more than useful in the air. Moves towards Youds, Tyler. Tyler's there again, Keith Jones. That's sliced.
No, it's not a great chance. It's one of those you hit and you hope more than anything. But you do feel that do miss Redfern, Martin. I think that's the thing. No disrespect to Keith Jones, but Redfern does give them that thrust, that running power forward from midfield.
Alberto Solano, but that's what Brady has around. He's been penalised then, the Peruvian. Scored a cracking goal at Anfield just after Christmas. Mills. Pringle anticipating that the ball might go beyond the Hunt, taking on Howey, who sticks out a foot, concedes the corner. Curbishley spent a lot of Friday morning putting on a coaching session to try and get Andy Hunt and Martin Pringle to understand each other's game. Robinson again can't force it through the line of opponents who blocked effectively. It's brought out by Solano, on for Ketsbaia. Newcastle on the counter-attack. And still with Georgiadis. Robinson went in. It's going to be a free kick to Newcastle. It was a little cameo of so many of the games here. Andy this season. Charlton huffing and puffing, not really carving out a chance, but getting some pressure going, not finding a way through. And now they've got to be a dangerous situation to defend. Alan Shearer is going to get a booking that will be his 5th of the season, and that's going to mean a suspension.
Well, as soon as the whistle went, you know he was getting booked. That's a certainty. They look a bit concerned, both Speed and Howey. I think it'll be yellow. I don't think it'll be any more than that. Alan Shearer protesting that he won the ball. Once the referee's blown his whistle, Alan's gone to ground from behind. Then you know it's a yellow card. It's inevitable. He certainly caught Pringle. Whether he got the ball first, I'm not sure. No, he didn't get much of it. Pringle just got his foot in front. There he goes, pushes it away, and then Allen comes in a little late. Only fractionally, but it's late, and it's a booking. I think when he sees that, he'll have no complaints.
Pringle certainly shaken up. Curbishley will be desperately hoping he's not going to lose another striker here.
Well, as long as it was only a knock, then he should be all right. As long as it didn't twist as he went down.
It's a terrific leap by Dabizas. One of the best features of his play. It's a strange situation that we find Newcastle in. Such warm memories of their Premiership past. And of course they've got big business plans for the future, but they've really got to keep the eye on the present. But so far so good here at Charlton. In goes Keith Jones.
He's unlucky. A little behind him. Once he'd gone in, he made the run, trying to get into the box. They got good players in there, 3 or 4 options. And Robinson crosses it. The only thing was, it's a little behind him. You can see he's got to stop, try and drag it back.
4 in the penalty area on the cross. And the level on attempts at goal. Still struggling to find the target. Ketsbaia. Just bounced up, and playing your first Premiership game, even with 149 Football League games behind you, as Simon Royce has. Just a little bit of extra pressure, but he went through with the shot, as they would say at cricket. Ilic is the substitute goalkeeper for Charlton today, and backing up Steve Harper, Lionel Perez. Of course, they were the 2 Wembley goalkeepers for Sunderland and Charlton in that fantastic playoff game, penalty shootout and all. Bounced off Mills. Brady's in there. Pringle wasn't well enough there. Tight sort of movement through midfield, and Charlton in the end snuffed out before they'd really crossed the halfway line. Kinsella has stayed further forward. And here he is, and he's away. Put into space by Newton. Mark Kinsella for Charlton.
Well, that's the difference at this level. You've got to produce something in the last third, and you get the chance. So often they've had the ball.
Newton slipping.
They've had the ball in good areas, Mark and Charlton, but haven't really delivered sufficient quality in where it matters most.
Solano. Newcastle can emphasise that point with some quality work of their own. They're going to get a free kick, a foul by Youds.
Well, it's Shearer territory.
Just thinking it'd also be Stuart Pearce territory. He's another one not with Newcastle today.
It would be his side as well, left footer. I'm sure Shearer won't be too shy in hitting this, Martin.
Shearer's not scored in the Premiership since late September. But he shoots here into the wall. Domi. Powell. Nicely done by Speed. Dabizas. Charlton press Newcastle into the back pass. Speed biting in twice. It's a good playing surface here at the Valley, and Newcastle are enjoying performing on it. There you go. That's the one divot I forgot to mention. Colin Powell, the groundsman here, who played so many games for Charlton. Thank you for saying that. Or Didier Domi for letting the ball go. Here's Newton's pass. Robinson! Well, that's got a sharper edge to it from Charlton Athletic.
Not his best struck shot, but that's a better break from Charlton. And this time they do get an end product. First time, goalkeeper's been asked to do some work.
In possession, Georgiadis. Pringle.
Well, in the end, the deflection helped the goalkeeper. Took the pace off the shot, made it comfortable for Steve Harper.
And it was Keith Jones who cut to Georgiadis. Charlton moved on well through Kinsella from that point to give Pringle a sight of goal. Goal after 14 minutes from Ketsbaia. Finding the bottom corner as Charlton backpedalled.
They haven't done a lot wrong, Charlton, Martin, I have to say. It's been a pretty even contest, you know, take the goal out of it.
Hurt to the core if we can see the second goal before half-time. Newcastle have a corner.
Well, they're quite simply can't afford to when you look at the scoring record.
Solano takes it. Carl Tyler gets it away from Howey. This is speed. Ketsbaia. Just trying to get it down, but there's not really time for that. Brady. Barton. There's a one-goal advantage, but that's no room for complacency for Newcastle.
He's just been a little casual on the ball, you know, warning Barton a couple of times, Mark. He's had plenty of time to go and pick the pass out, but delayed it. Put himself under pressure a couple of times.
Domi's pass took out Tyler then, and Shearer was able to keep this move going for Newcastle. Barton on the ball again. 2 minutes of time to be played in the stoppage category. But Georgiadis. Now Solano. Robinson staying with Warren Barton as he had to do. Love to be taking the Newcastle number 2 into the other half of the pitch and making him defend. Carried out by Carl Tyler, who's the biggest player in a not very big side. Newton. Again going on. Sean Newton has stayed down. Charlton have got the ball, and maybe now they want to go forward because there's some space here for Mills. Newton a bit of a distraction to Perez from both sides. Mills running into trouble in the shape of Gary's speed. And the whistle has gone, not just for sympathy for Sean Newton, but in fact for half-time. Well, Alan Curbishley's got some sorting out to do, an injury to deal with as well. Mervyn Day and Keith Peacock will have their say in the dressing room, but again Charlton are struggling. They failed to score in another 45 minutes of Premiership football, and they have conceded to Tamor Ketsbaia from Shearer's knockdown. Charlton will probably say, we'll have a shot from there. We fancied that it wouldn't go in, but it did go in. Have they got the resources to turn it round here, the home side? Newcastle will hope not. They need the win, and they're leading at half-time by 1-0.
Championship finals at 5:30 on 3. The Minnesota Vikings take on the Atlanta Falcons, and that's followed at 9 here on Sky Sports 1 by the Denver Broncos and the New York Jets. The winners of those games go through to this year's Super Bowl, which you can see exclusively live on Sky Sports 1 on Sunday, 31st of January. 1-0 Newcastle United. Ketsbaia's goal separates the teams. Really, as the boys were saying during that first half, very little between them apart from that goal. The one booking, Alan Shearer. Look at that, that's how, well, nothing between them bar the goal. David Jones, the Southampton manager, is our guest here this afternoon. But you look at Charlton, Dave, and you just wonder where the goal's coming from, don't you?
Well, they've had a few half chances. I mean, just before near the end of the game, when you're getting in wide positions, because you're low on confidence as players, rather than just put the ball in, they're just trying to make that little bit extra sure that, you know, they get it on someone's head. And well, if they've got that confidence, they just naturally just put the ball in and put it into the danger area, and they're just delaying it that fraction. And if they sort that out, they'll put Newcastle under a fair bit of pressure. They did it for 10 minutes, which is only natural. They are the home team. They forced the pace, but they were flying in that opening 10, weren't they? Well, a goal then perhaps, and it's different. Well, that's what you always say in football. When you've got the pressure on, that's the right time to score. It's one long ball out of the box, and they get done. But this is the chance for Robinson before that. Now, if this goes in, and of course, it's an obvious statement, we've got a different game, but yeah. Charlton feel totally different about themselves then, don't they? Oh, of course you do. I don't think he could have hit it first time. He's done the right thing. He took it on his chest, and you're talking a couple of inches. But here is the goal. You're attacking. You are a threat, and then all of a sudden, as you say, one long ball. It's just a clearance. It's anywhere too, isn't it? Great movement, but it is just a clearance. Defender's a bit unlucky, you know, through his legs on the side of the keeper for just that split second. But it is just, you know, get out of my area, the danger area, and great header down, tremendous. But if you're being overly critical, should there be a threat there? Not really, because you've got the pressure on, and as you always telling your defenders, when you're attacking, you think defensive, and maybe the two centre-backs just switched off that little bit. But Alan Shearer, great header down, good movement off when he's gone, and then, you know, you can criticise the centre-half. Could he go a little bit, you know, let him shoot a little bit earlier, but he thinks he's done the right thing, gone between his legs, and the keeper's on side. Right now, Alan Curbishley's delivering, I would have thought, a very familiar message to his Charlton players, but it has to be, keep going, something will come, anything they need. Yeah, they've got to keep going. Maybe just put the ball in the box a little bit quicker than what they are, because they've got two good headers of the ball in the boy Pringle and Hunt up front, and it's like the wide fella Robinson. I mean, you know, he gets in good positions and then he's checking back. The forwards have already made the runs. He can just deliver the ball with his left foot, just put it into the danger area and let the forwards come onto it. It's the Valley this afternoon for us here in South East London. They must taste good despite the scoreline. What's left in there? Long trip south for the Toon Army, but
Their team leads right now. They are a goal to the good. Ketsbaia, the scorer, and we've got the whole of the second half when we come back. Right now to Super Sunday at the Valley. Charlton against Newcastle. And here's a brave man, Mike Gurdoff. Proposing to his girlfriend of 4.5 years, Carolyn Hayward. What's the answer? Well, he gambled, didn't he, and got a yes. That's what he was looking for. What a place to propose. In front of 20,000 people here. Go on, give her a kiss. He's saving it. Well, we wish them well. Obviously here to watch Charlton play football this afternoon. Their team are trailing by a goal to nil to Newcastle United. Here's our commentators, Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thought you handled that very well, Richard.
Well done, Geezy. Top man, Mary's guidance counsellor.
Actually, Charlton not out yet. It gives us a chance to thank them. We'd had some hot food brought up to us today, which we appreciate very much. Doesn't usually happen at half-time. Andy rewarded the lovely waitress by signing a certain part of her anatomy. It was the left hand.
Well done, Mum.
Back to the football. Charlton have been beaten here. 2-1 by Derby, 2-1 by Everton, 1-0 by Villa, 1-0 by Arsenal. They're 1-0 down to Newcastle United. Familiar territory, all too worrying for their management team. The supporters have been very philosophical. They're enjoying their trips up and down the land in the Premiership. Second half underway here at the Valley.
And I mentioned the atmosphere that's here, and the crowd have been absolutely fantastic for the home side. I just wonder what kind of noise they'd make, Martin, should they get back level. But it must be an all too familiar team talk, you know, for Alan Curbishley, because there's not an awful lot he could change.
Now it's a tug back by Dabizas on Hunt. Peter Jones has got the card out.
Yeah, I think Hunt just turns him here. A little bit of good fortune and strength. You can see Dabizas hauling, not once but twice, pulling him back. Ref's got no option then. But it's from places like this, areas like this now, quality is a must. Put it in an area between the posts where you can get 3, 4, 5 players going and attacking it with a bit of purpose.
Taken by Kinsella. Shearer misses his attempted clearance. Back by Robinson. Goalkeeper comes very decisively. Good play from Steve Harper. In today because Shea Given is suspended. Andy Hunter is still down. Carl Tyler still forward. Newcastle get a throw.
Well, Steve Harper came and he decided to take the lot. And I think as your goalkeeper, you've got to do that. You come into traffic. As this one comes back in from the free kick, Alan Shearer, I don't know what he was thinking of, Alan, there. Just takes his eye off the ball. But the goalkeeper makes a really positive decision. I hadn't decided to come. He was taking Hunt and all.
He didn't take his eyes off the ball.
No.
It's okay. Can't get another free kick. Ball is not stationary.
I think he'll be glad to get that back. I can't understand why they're not putting pressure on, putting it in. Again, Chris Powell took a little short free kick that gave Robinson no chance, but the referee sending it back's allowed Tyler to go up, Youds to go up. Now they can put pressure on.
Eddie Youds was clearing the way then in a real rough and tumble with Dabizas.
That was a decent header as well. Again, though, when you're looking for a little bit of luck, the ball in's a good one. Tyler comes in, and I'll tell you how he did well. Just when they wanted it, he dropped the red shirt safely into the arms of the goalkeeper.
Kinsella. Pringle trying to get the drop on Dabizas. Kinsella linking up with Powell. Encouraging start to the second half from Charlton Athletic. Hunt. It's a bit short for Powell.
That was very short. It's a pity. You're absolutely right. The best move of the match, really. Good football down the right. Switched it left quickly. The set-up play was good, but Hunt was just a touch short with the ball back to Curbishley.
Here is Powell. Good angle for the cross. Not pressing him either. It's too deep for Pringle. Forced into playing the ball out. Of course, been under the guidance of Graham Souness in Portugal at Benfica. Georgiadis. Keith Jones did well. So too did Howey for Newcastle. They've got Solano on the ball. Well, that was not the option that Warren Barton in the end was expecting. It had come straight away. It was on, but once Solano carried it on for a few yards, and expected them to go to the other side of the pitch. Certainly his Newcastle teammates did. Now it's fed to Barton by Georgiadis. Outs made it his. Dabizas did for Newcastle. Kinsella to keep things inventive in the centre of that midfield. Newton passed all the way by Domi. On the other side coming from Brady, but Charlton still have it. Newton, good work by Keith Jones. On from Newton to Powell. No one left of him, but ahead of him is Hunt. Back with Kinsella. Newcastle are plenty behind the ball. Robinson. Defensive shape was probably satisfactory to Ruud Gullit then.
It was, Mark, but it was again a chance. It wasn't a difficult ball for John Robinson to slide Powell in.
Youds. Well, yeah, they're doing it. In fact, he didn't have the pace to get back, and it was a foul despite the bellows around the ground. Trying to inject some adventure and optimism. Solano. This is Georgiadis. And there's a goal kick. It's interesting, Andy, that interview Ruud Gullit gave to us earlier in the week that we broadcast before the game, how he was emphasising the difficulty of getting players out, suggesting that he certainly does want to get some of them out.
Well, there's no doubt he wants to get a lot of them out. I think that's absolute certainty. But you know, when players are getting paid the amount of money you're getting paid at Newcastle, Martin, an awful lot these days, unfortunately, are quite happy to sit in big fat contracts.
It can't be too easy a job to select who you want to stay and who you want to keep, because they're much of a muchness in certain positions. You see them as pretty interchangeable. A lot of changes, half a dozen for this game, although you feel that Ruud Gullit played a particular side against Chelsea as a one-off, 3 at the back, 4 in midfield, 3 up front in that game. But he's had the suspensions and injuries and illness to deal with in his team selection for this one. And he's got a 1-0 lead that his side must defend with all their concentration. Newcastle management have been talking about the need to scrap for points. Ugly football has become an expression.
Yeah, but you got to
it works.
You've got to do the ugly things in football and do them well, Martin, to be successful.
We probably mean the less glamorous things, the efficient things. But certainly keeping their minds on the job here is part of that. And, side with a good track record of winning away from home. The really vital 3 points for them. It would maybe stop the mention of the word relegation in their part of the northeast. Something like a 10-point cushion to Newcastle on the bottom three. That's if they win.
A bit of work to do. Not as yet. Almost 10 minutes into the second half. Been pretty solid so far.
Pringle's trying to get his own teammates out of the way. See this very direct philosophy to his game. But Shearer just drifting to the far post. It's nowhere near deep enough for him. Do feel that in the last 12 months or so they haven't been tailored to Alan Shearer's liking. He can guide that one down for Ketsbaia. Is he going to get another one? And it's tucked away by Solano. 2-0 to Newcastle.
And once again the head of Alan Shearer contributes in the move. Captain gets a lot of congratulations, but it was brilliant pace from Ketsbaia. He didn't look favourite to win it. Little touch header, I thought his second favourite, but the way he just nicked it there, super play to keep control of it, and full marks to Solano. Now one or two players might have just sat back and let Ketsbaia get on with it from there. Keeper does his bit. He's a little unlucky. Needed a bit of luck, the goalkeeper, once his half blocked it. He didn't get it. That was bright from Solano. You just think that's the game now.
So Newcastle with a goal in the formative stages of each half. Here's Robinson. Couldn't get it to Powell. Barton gets his challenge in. Kinsella across. No club has ever lost 9 Premiership games in a row. But Charlton are stirring into that particular abyss. Hunt. Get it over the stand. We're sitting in the top of it, and it's quite a height, but at the underside of the roofing. Keith Jones to Hunt. Powell. Youds coming just a bit too far, but Mills is there behind him. Well, worth a try in these circumstances. Desperate times, desperate remedies required.
Yeah, well, Shearer, he's been fairly quiet, Alan, but he's contributed both times. A great run from Ketsbaia. As soon as the ball went over his head, he spun away and said to Shearer, go on, can you nod it in there? Beautifully weighted head, a wonderful touch there. He's a little unlucky, goalkeeper does his job. But so much has it dropped for Charlton at the other end. It just sat lovely for Solano.
Yes, it was Eddie Youds who couldn't quite cover the ground as quickly as Ketsbaia. Well, there was a team playing in red who were 2-0 down at home to Newcastle quite recently, 1-4-2. Who's going to be Charlton's Michael Owen and Karl-Heinz Riedler, though?
Well, that's the biggest difference, and I think that's I've complimented an awful lot of their game. It's good. They do lack that genuine quality.
Robinson, and that's good positional play, strong reactions by Warren Barton to stop Robinson coming in on the cross.
Well, this is the best cross I've put in. There's been an awful lot of ball there. Newton puts in, well, I think that's the best cross of the match that Charlton have put in. There's a chance for Robinson to get all over Warren Barton, as you say, the defender. Just enough.
Well, that's one of the less glamorous things, isn't it? You've got to keep doing. Warren Barton said, I'll try and be the boss in that situation. Youds asking too much of Powell. Here's Pringle. Kinsella. Barton covers. Almost an hour played at the Valley. Apologising for the type of ball he gave to Pringle. The flag went up in any case. It's interesting, John Robinson, who is right-footed, invariably used by Charlton on the left-hand side. You mentioned the crossing. Charlton staff will tell you that it's been a weak part of their play this season. Haven't got the right sort of service in often enough. I mentioned right at the start of the game, Shorten and Newton's had an inconsistent time. Paul Mortimer actually is one of the better crossers at the club. He's out injured at the moment. He was with Charlton when they were in the old First Division playing at Selhurst Park. Foul on Hunt. Powell. Best first touch from Pringle. Dabizas to come in, but it's rolled away from Newcastle to Robinson. Newton. Here's Keith Jones. Howey is the defender. Oh, wonderful save! When Andy Hunt must have thought he got one back. But Steve Harper showing again what a fine goalkeeper he is.
Well, great agility, not only from the goalkeeper, Martin, but from Andy Hunt. Wonderful piece of football. The cross is a little deep, but Sean Newton manages to keep it in. And Jones does ever so well to get it back. He thinks that's past the goalkeeper. It's a brilliant attempt and an equally good save.
Charlton have a corner. Back by Powell. The effort all the better because Andy Hunt has indicated to the bench that he is struggling.
Yeah, he's hobbling off now, but what a wonderful attempt. Hooked it back in. You must think that's going in. That's a brilliant hand to it. Going the wrong way. He's got to check. But he doesn't reach it. Brilliant goalkeeping. Super save.
Well, this is Newton. Letting Domi chase back. Well, it's the young and the old. Paul Konchesky, the youngest player ever to represent Charlton. Just over 16 a year or so ago, still only 17. And number 17 here, Mark Bright at 36, has done the rounds. And in goes Bright! Oh, that's amazing!
Would you believe it? Top marks to the manager.
He's been on the field 15 seconds, Mark Bright. And he's breathed new life into Charlton Athletic.
Well, it's a long throw again. They don't deal with it. Youds gets the touch. The mark is not great. Well, Mark Bright, you said he's done the rounds, Martin. He don't miss from 5 yards, giving a free header.
Well, Newcastle perhaps beginning to think that they were home and dry here. Charlton back in business. Mark Bright's first goal at this level for more than 3 years. Since his time at Sheffield Wednesday. It's his 50th Premiership goal, by the by. The most important thing for Charlton is that it's given them hope. A club that have found goals so hard to come by. Andy Hunt having to go off injured, Mark Bright required, and in the right spot straight away.
Well, I thought it might be game over at 2-0. We might just have a game back on. Well, we're going to get an exciting 25 minutes in this game.
Yet had 20 minutes of the second half, and in goes Bright again. Had a short but unproductive spell in Swiss football. Makes you wonder where he might have been for the last couple of years. He's not featured for Charlton this season, partly because of injury, partly because he's been way down the pecking order.
They've just shifted John Robertson over to the right side, Martin. You mentioned he was naturally right-footed. He's gone over there. Chris Powell's just pushed up into a left-sided midfield position. And the young lad Konchesky's just pushed in at left-back.
Well, it is game on now. We saw Charlton earn a 2-2 draw at Tottenham, one of our live games earlier in the season. Can they do the same again here? How will Newcastle's nerves stand the strain? But they still lead. Jones, in comes Bright again.
Yeah, just a little near the goalkeeper. That's a disadvantage of right footer taking it. If you get it a little high with the curl on it, the natural curl, it's going in towards the goalkeeper. It's making his job easier than had it just been going the other way.
Peter Jones just had a word in passing with Mark Bright about that trailing arm. Forward by Mills. Pringle chasing. Howey is the defender. Touched on by Kinsella. Barton strong against Powell. Ketsbaia, the scorer of the first Newcastle goal, gets lucky then. It's squirted through Kinsella to Brady. Solano, the scorer of the second. Bright, maybe not as quick as he once was, but that's understandable. He's credit to his own professionalism that he's still involved at this level, at this age, especially as a forward. It's always been easier for those at the back, Andy, hasn't it?
Always thought that.
Two bits and pieces going Charlton's way. Three-quarter mark of the match, which is by no means over, as Newcastle hoped it would have been when Solano flicked in their second. Mills. Ripley's back stopping the defending. And then Shearer concedes the corner.
Well, they got away with it. Again, the two big boys got marked and they take a short free kick. And they almost paid for it again.
Signals come from Kinsella. In towards Bright, who gets something on it. Youds.
Well, it was an inspired substitution from Alan Curbishley. Whether he was going to make it or whether Andy Hunt's decision was made with the injury. But he came on, and 20 seconds later, he was rising in front, 6 yards out, and bringing Charlton back into the game.
Robinson. Held up by Brady. Mills stepping in. Bright is offside. Newcastle just stood and let Bright dart forward in his eagerness. Well offside. Well, we've stressed often enough Charlton's wretched run of results. Newcastle with 3 successive league defeats. He had a high point with morale, getting anxious. Bright forcing himself in front of Dabizas. That was foxy play from the old campaigner. Oh, that's given away by Mills when Charlton were massing their forces. Royce. He's not the shy, bashful type, I can tell you that. Aston Villa against Everton. That's tomorrow at 7. What a wonderful season Villa are having. And you're on Sky Sports, a chance to have your say at 10:30. We'll be right down the middle tomorrow, Andy. Aston Villa and Everton.
I will be as I always am.
Right down the middle, Kerry. I can vouch for that. Solano. Nicely played by Konchesky. Powell. Offside in midfield now. Pringle. Catching Shearer, that's the way the referee saw it. Oh, long Charvet. It was a surprise omission from Ruud Gullit starting lineup. But he's going to come on here for Gary Brady. This is the first Premiership game of the season that Charvet hadn't started for Newcastle.
Number 29, Gary Brady.
Now he's going to play at right back, Warren Barton right midfield, Solano left midfield. Konchesky. Good running by Pringle. Being tugged back there by Charvet, but he got the ball to Jones. Fire Bright now to Mills. Robinson. Had plenty of players arriving towards the near post, and John Robinson saw a hand then.
Well, he's after the linesman. I didn't think it was a great cross again, Martin. I really didn't.
Shearer, but plenty of players well forward for Newcastle. Playing this spread if Charlton can get hold of it here. Shearer does give it away. Charvet is in. Georgiadis. Speed. And from Domi.
They've played this well, get possession of the ball, making Charlton really work to get it back. It must be 15 so passes they put together.
Howey. Challenge from behind by Youds. Referee waited just to see if there was anything to accrue for Newcastle. Gave himself some thinking time. Youds says no, 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 but going to change his mind now.
No, it certainly looked like he just got caught.
That sort of invention in Newcastle capable of here. Not in too much of a hurry. And Barton just plays it back to Charvet. Solano had something more crafty in mind, but Barton took the initiative. Mills. A nice touch from Robinson. I've heard some of the Charlton crowd chanting England, England as the indication of the greater domestic feel to the makeup of their team. I don't suppose it discouraged Alan Shearer hearing cries like that. Ketsbaia's done well for Newcastle, but you'll have your own views. The man of the match, 0660 11 22 33. Match with the destiny of it still in the melting pot. 2-1 to Newcastle, coming to the final 15 minutes. With just a glimmer of light down a long dark tunnel.
Well, you know they'll keep going. I think that's the thing. At 2-0, 15 minutes ago, 1 or 2 heads. Now they've just started to drop a little, but only 1 goal deficit now. They'll certainly keep going.
Charvet. This kick by Mills and fooled. Georgiadis bounced up and hit his hand. Free kick to Charlton.
There's a book out there.
Well, the book might have been shown for an earlier tackle that the referee was waiting for a stoppage of play. Georgiadis got caught a moment or 2 ago. Wasn't sure that it was Kinsella, but maybe the referee was.
Well, he waited. That's the tackle. A couple of moments ago. The referee let play go as soon as he had a chance. Kinsella was booked.
Great threat to Charlton in this situation, but they must make sure they keep themselves in the mix here by not conceding a 3rd goal. Picking their moments to get forward. Now that was late by Dabizas. Now Nikolaos Dabizas, having been sent off at Arsenal earlier this season, goes for a 2nd caution here, and Newcastle are down to 10 men, 13 minutes to go.
Well, he was late. They caught Kinsella, and right after, the referee waiting to book Kinsella. And you see he's late, he goes to ground, that's probably a booking. And what a cheer. You mentioned Dabizas was at the centre of the Richard Rufus sending off for the opening game of the season. That's why there was a doubly big cheer.
Sure of his location here. heading for the bench rather than the tunnel. All sorts of activity on the two benches.
Well, they could quite simply have just put Charvet into the middle at the moment, Mark. Warren Barton will go back to right back. Can they find a way through?
Konchesky. Moved forward by Ketsbaia. We'll see more of that now maybe as Newcastle try and just stand their ground. A rash of red cards recently of Harper and Shea given. In goes Bright. Harper not fazed by Bright's presence.
He sees foreign coaches, Mark, they can't control their players.
Konchesky making sure a corner wasn't conceded then.
Well, there'll be no hurry. Ruud Gullit trying to get a substitution. I think it's Aaron Hughes from here. Defender coming on. Just to shore it up.
It's 28 Hughes for 24 Solano. But it's his goal by which Newcastle lead at this point.
Well, it might be a very important goal at the end of the day. This was a simple task at the end. As long as he got it airborne, he was scoring. It wasn't been blocked.
Well, Keith Jones being replaced. The stand-in for Neil Redfern today. And on comes another of the Charlton teenagers, Scott Parker, who had a taste of national fame as the young ball-juggling presence in the McDonald's commercial. So that vouches for his touch on the ball. After that, he went away for a couple of years to the FA National School at Ilic. Likes to play central midfield.
Yeah, they'll most probably give him a free roll, get up front. I'm sure they will get in contact with the front two.
He scored a goal in this ground in Alan Curbishley's testimonial match against Hearts. Season back in August. Parker's cross. There's confusion there around Steve Harper.
Well, Howey missed it, and Charvet got lucky. It could have gone anywhere. Again, it's not the best of crosses though, it's low, it's front post, but it's in between defenders and the goal, and that's what made it difficult. You got lucky, Charvet.
Everyone back for Newcastle. Down to 10 men, leading by 2 goals to 1. Charvet sizing up the situation. Looking for a ball out, and it's a very ambitious one, but it's a very good one for Georgiadis. Shows plenty of optimism here. One Greek still on the pitch. The other sent off for 2 bookable offences.
We've got 3 centre-backs in place now. Ruud Gullit. Youds has joined Charvet and Howey.
Powell. Barker, but he can't control it. Charlton themselves proved how well 10 men can play it with their work at Newcastle in August. Mills. Dealt with by Howey. Again, another wide position, another indifferent cross. Newcastle trading space in midfield now. The runner here is Robinson against Domi. And promise leads to nothing at all that time. Your call, remember, man of the match, 0660 11 22 33 is the number. Carl Tyler came here earlier this season from Everton. In a relegation scrap there last season. Youds. Now Mills. Newcastle well aware of his speed and not giving him any room to run into.
Well, they're just backing off and quite rightly so. Newcastle just got to get players behind the ball, defend sensibly, defend deep.
Domi.
It's amazing how difficult it is, Mark, if you set out aside and as a training ground routine to break down 7 or 8 defenders, how tough that is. And that's what's happened now. They'll just get set defensively, Newcastle, and say, OK then, try and break us down. Are you good enough? And that's what we'll find out in the next 6 and however many more minutes are added on.
Well, the ignominy of a 9th successive Premiership defeat. An obvious spurt.
I'd shove Youds out front, just for the last 4 or 5 minutes of this. I'd just go and stick him up in between Bright and Pringle, just say go on in.
And bomb it in.
Yeah. They need something to happen, and they need it to happen in the last third.
Konchesky. He's pressing Powell back. Use his left foot there. Twist himself around to play it to Youds. It's easy for Howey. And Shearer played very well in a quasi-defensive situation when they were down to 10 men at Anfield.
Well, the throw's coming in again. Oh, and they've taken it quickly.
Kinsella. It's Robinson's cross. Comes off Charvet. This is Pringle. He'll make a name for himself here. Well, he got the shot in.
They did ever so well to get the shot in. Controlled and awkward ball. That's a much better cross. The difficulty they've got dealing with that, much better, but quick feet. You know he can only stab it.
And how quick is Simon Royce?
Quick enough.
Youds. Again, Newcastle back off. Youds made himself available well, but the rustiness in the control. Shearer. It's neatly played for speed. Don't let Newcastle, even with 10 men, get into this passing rhythm. They've shown that they've got the quality to run down the clock by keeping possession. Speed. Georgiadis. And now Domi. It's the depleted team doing the attacking. Domi and Shearer pulled away from the defender. They can find him where he can set up others, but not where he can get into a scoring position himself. Kinsella. And Curbishley and Mervyn Day urging Charlton forward. Mills. Kinsella. Blocked by Howey. Barton thrashes it away as Mills came careering in. And through here by Konchesky. Charvet's header out, drops for Kinsella. Robinson calling for it on the right and getting it. goes forward. Long throw this time.
I think this is going in the mix-up.
It's a waste if it doesn't. Carl Tyler is there to try and flick it on. Getting the right run-up for Danny Mills is the problem. There's Tyler. And there's Youds, beaten to it by Shearer. Tyler again. Comes to Powell on his left foot. Konchesky. No one venturing out for Newcastle. Bright climbing. And doing it unfairly.
Well, Tyler and Bright went in against Howey. The referee was pretty quick to give the free kick. This is a lovely ball in, it really was. Right at the edge of the box. Keeper can't come, but defenders know they've got to deal with it. Mark Bright goes up, takes a little ride on Howey's back.
Well, Charlton have inquired about a lot of players, one of whom is about to come on to operate against them. Paul Dalglish, who over the last couple of months has looked maybe surplus to Newcastle's requirements. Then Duncan Ferguson got injured, so any suggestion of the transfer was shelved.
He was the furthest away from the bench, so he was a set to come off.
If you don't want to come off in those circumstances, get over near the board. That's the answer, isn't it?
It'll be interesting to see how much time added on there will be, Martin. Funny feeling. It might be a few minutes.
Well, here comes Paul Dalglish. Might just give them a ball out with his pace. He's certainly playing well in front of Shearer at the moment. Warren Barton's pushed on. That's 3 minutes. And Charlton use the stoppage time here. We saw some drama at Stamford Bridge yesterday. Chelsea very late on. And in goes Pringle. Feels for handball. Peter Jones is unmoved. Bright letting it run. Mills. In goes Pringle. Out comes the goalkeeper. And Barton bangs it away. Konchesky.
Well, it certainly hit the hand. Wasn't a doubt about that, but I thought the ball was headed against him rather than anything else, I have to say. From that close a distance, that would have been a pretty harsh penalty. It's just a big hopeful ball and he looks to head it back. I'm not so sure there was much he could have done about that. But I've seen them give it.
Peter Jones wasn't in the giving mood. Robinson. Hughes got ahead to it. Tyler. Back to Konchesky to get in a decent ball again. Bright. And Didier Domi had to play that really to be sure. Goalkeeper was coming.
This is another lovely ball in, you know, from Konchesky. He's got a lovely left foot, the young lad, on at left back, but that was equally good defending from the other left back. Arrived at him sharply.
Mills. Powell taking on Dalglish and getting beyond it. And Bright! Is it over the line? Oh!
Well, that's close. I tell you, Mark Bright is sure it's over. All the Charlton team are sure it's over. The only one sure it wasn't is the one who mattered most, the linesman on the far side.
Tyler. It's Kevin Hawkes, who didn't see anything he felt he could flag for. He's now pointed for the corner. You won't get any closer to an equaliser than this.
Great head back by Youds. He thinks he's there. Oh, that's over.
That's in.
That's in. That's on the way back out. That is in.
for Mark Bright. Should have been 2. Tyler. Well, we had one last season. Was it at Bolton?
Bolton against Everton.
Bolton went down.
Yeah.
Well, they talk about technology, and for just this sort of situation.
Matters of fact, Martin. Yeah. Fact, the ball was over.
Well, how cruel this game can be when you're down at the bottom. Pringle. Oh, it's Pringle! It's 2-2! Justice is done at the Valley! And Martin Pringle, on his home debut, deep into stoppage time, has spared Charlton the ignominy of a 9th successive Premiership defeat. A fantastic finale here.
Well, Pringle's a scorer, but what a part Scott Parker plays in this. A lovely little ball there, 2 touches. He was so aware of Pringle's position. For a young lad in a pressure situation, he gets knocked down, but 1, 2, it opens up for Pringle. 2 great touches from him, and Charlton have what they deserve, a share.
Well, that was the goal that was. Seconds earlier, the one that wasn't, that seemed to lead to such heartbreak here. When Mark Bright's header was over the line before it was cleared, Bright had come on to score immediately after being brought on as a substitute to give Charlton some life in the game. And then Martin Pringle, here on loan from Benfica. Well, that decision alone has been justified in that moment. Newcastle led by 2 with goals from Ketsbaia and Solano. Ruud Gullit can't believe what he's seen, but if he sees that replay of the one that wasn't given, he'll feel maybe that it's not all injustice for Newcastle. Praise be for a point Charlton will feel after the 8 successive defeats. This was the story of the day. Ketsbaia, after 14 minutes, early on for Newcastle. Shearer involved in that as he was, and Ketsbaia again. Early in the second half, Loughborough Solano nipping in for the second. Mark Bright, that makes it 2-1. Then we have the sending off with Dabizas catching Kinsella, second bookable offence. No doubt for the referee. No complaints really for the Greek. Then this. Ball over the line from Mark Bright. Blocked by Charvet, and he got away with it. Charlton's appeals in vain. And then Scott Parker setting up Martin Pringle. Well played, Charlton. They never give up, and that will be their story over the next few weeks as well. A final score here at the Valley. Charlton Athletic 2, Newcastle United 2. It's been a belter at the end.
Not kidding, what a finish. Still to come tonight, more live football on Sky Sports 1 at 6:30 when we finish. From the Spanish League, Real Betis take on Barcelona. And at 9 o'clock, it's American football, the AFC Championship between Denver Broncos and the New York Jets. It's cricket over on Sky Sports 2 from 8 o'clock. Highlights of this morning's one-day international between England and Australia. And at 11, it's live golf from the US Tour, day 4 of the Sony Open. On 3 now, the first of our live games of American football tonight, the NFC Championship between Minnesota Vikings and the Atlanta Falcons. And the winners of those 2 American football games go to the Super Bowl, of course, which we can see live in January 31st. Gee, 2-2. What a finish. 0660 112233 for your calls for man of the match. Charlton have dug themselves out of a massive hole here. They've got a point out of it. They haven't lost 9 in a row. Newcastle will look back on it and wonder, well, what next? Reaction after the break. Well, could have been 9 straight defeats for Charlton. It's, as it turns out, just 2 wins from 13 for Newcastle, who were 2 goals to the good and were pegged back. What a comeback from Charlton. what a comeback. 3 booked from Newcastle, Dabizas twice, which meant he had to go, and Alan Shearer as well. Kinsella from Charlton was booked. Sending off really turned things in Charlton's favour, didn't it? First half, not a great deal between them. The possession was evenly split as well, but over the 90 minutes, Charlton had the better of it. Now the man of the match. I'd have thought Pringle for the equaliser in many ways, but the man of the match is Ketsbaia. Nobody from Charlton there polled. Ketsbaia is the Carling man of the match today. Just for a change, let's grab a word with Alan Curbishley, who must be absolutely delighted. Here he is with George Gavin.
Alan, are you pleased to have ended the losing run?
Well, I'm obviously pleased to end the losing run, and you know, for a long while there, it just looked like a typical performance from us. You know, I've just seen a couple of the stats, and we've had 15 attempts on goal to their 7, and you know, really, I think most people would agree we dominated for most of it, except we didn't get the goals. And to come back like that must give us great heart, although I obviously would have liked 3 points.
Martin Pringle getting that goal for you. You said before the game, didn't you, in fact, you thought he could make an impression?
Well, I thought that he was unaffected. You know, to come in 1-0 down again, and I asked him to try and perhaps pass it a little bit more, get off the keeper, and just to enjoy it a bit more, because it was a little bit too frantic, I think, the first half for us. But once again, we was behind, you know, and it's very difficult when you keep losing and you're behind again. But I think second half, they showed great courage, and I think that, you know, for us to come back, I loved it to have been 3 points, but perhaps this is a step for us. Because, as I've been saying to anyone who wants to listen, we've been playing OK for the last 8 or 9 games, getting no points at all.
Maybe it could have been 3 points, although it was late, because Mark Bright's second header seemed to be across the line, Alan.
Well, Mervyn said to me, you know, I must have been the calmest man there.
Let's have a look at this and see what you think. He'd already scored for you, hadn't he, and done well?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, look where the linesman is. The linesman's got to be over the other side of the pitch, and that just sums us up. I mean, Mervyn, as I said earlier, he was saying to me, you know, you must be the calmest man here. I just thought, here we go again. You know, it wasn't worth ranting and raving at the ref if we hadn't have got it, because it wasn't given. And, you know, when the second one in, I didn't quite believe that as well. I thought he was going to give offside or something.
But you remember Bolton against Everton last year when they didn't have a goal given for them, Bolton? In the end, it counted against them, didn't it? Yeah. Would you support video evidence in that case in the future?
No, they can't do nothing about that, I don't think. That's just a decision. Which is
so in the future, would you like to see it come in?
Not really, because I think that where the linesman is, there's plenty of bodies in his way. It's very difficult. And that's part and parcel of the game, I think. But no, I'm just pleased. I think we've shown once again to the people watching that we're not that bad, and we just need a bit of luck. And I would just like something to ricochet in the goal for us and put us in the lead, because it'd take a good side to wear us down, I think, because the way they're working now, and that's after 8 defeats, I mean, fantastic.
Thanks very much, Alan. All the best.
Thank you.
Yeah, very well played, Charlton. And Neil Garton from Bristol wins the replica jersey today. Dave Jones, the Southampton manager, has been watching that with us. That's all very well, isn't it, Alan? You stay calm, you can't change it. He's absolutely right, but gee, the odds are so high now, aren't they? You get into a situation like that, a goal you feel you should have had, and you don't react to it. How do you stay calm in those circumstances?
I think Alan's hit the nail on the head there. There's nothing you can do. I mean, you're standing there, you've got to leave it up to 2 officials, because the third one on the other side, you know, is halfway down the pitch. It is difficult for him to call it, because must be, you know, 7 or 8 bodies in his way.
Of course it's difficult to call it, but the stakes are so high, it's got to be right, hasn't it?
Well, I will sit on the fence on whether you need that camera, or I don't know whether it changed the game, but Charlton today, they earned their luck, as we said before. The last 10 minutes they started putting quality balls into the box and putting Newcastle under a lot of pressure. They bring on the big lad, so you've got to put the ball in the box. But they earned it today, and as you said before, the sending off changed the game, and you know, we had a little bet before the game that it wouldn't finish with 11 v 11.
Yeah, you did say that actually. You fancied that somebody would go at some stage.
Yeah, mainly because of you know, how tense the game was going to be, and you know, any couple of tackles that go in, and you know, for me, I didn't think it warranted a sending off, but they're put under so much pressure at the moment.
Well, as Joe Royce says, you can go for sneezing these days, can't you?
Well, yeah.
Here's the first goal. Ketsbaia got the opener. Charlton were pounding away, couldn't find a way through. Newcastle spring, and they were caught. I mean, it's a real sucker goal to give away, wasn't it? But full marks Newcastle.
Yeah. I mean, you know, on a good day, it's the lad's leg and it ricochets away from the goal.
This is 2-0. Second half again. Alan Shearer, the beautifully guided header.
Great header down.
And at that point, you didn't fancy them too much, did you? But no sooner had he stepped onto the pitch than Mark Bright made it 2-1. What an important goal to get them back into it. And this one, Dave, we've just seen, there's no doubt, is there?
No,
it's in.
It's over, yeah.
So on matters of facts, maybe you do need that camera in the frame, but ultimately justice was done. 2 apiece. And you can't argue they didn't deserve it, can you?
No, they've earned the luck today. Great finish, great touch. And really, the boy hadn't been in the game for, 20, 25 minutes. But great finish. Probably a good result for everybody down the bottom.
Big point for Charlton. It does lift them above the Saints. Same 3 in the drop zone, though. Forest, Southampton and Charlton. And just outside Coventry, Blackburn Rovers ahead of them. Charlton, the only team in the bottom 5 to have got anything at all this weekend. Everton, of course, play tomorrow on the Monday Night Football. Newcastle cannot rest easy. They've got 25 points from 22 played. Sheffield Wednesday improving dramatically this weekend. 4-0 winners, of course, at Upton Park. They're up into 13th. Then it's Leicester and Spurs. Derby, Middlesbrough, the Hammers, Wimbledon, Liverpool up into 6th, Leeds 5th, then it's the champions. Villa, 5 goals tomorrow night, they'll go top. Everton will be doing their best to ensure that doesn't happen. Manchester United 2nd now, and Chelsea, by virtue of the late goal from Di Matteo at Stamford Bridge yesterday, stay on top. Right, we are not finished at the Valley yet. Charlton 2, Newcastle United 2 here. We will get more reaction when we come back. And we're also going off to the First Division to see how Sunderland and Ipswich fared today. We'll have a look at Sunderland and Ipswich in a moment. First, Ruud Gullit with George Gavin.
Ruud, are you happy with the point or disappointed you didn't stay in the lead at 2-0?
Of course disappointed. It was again a crazy day, crazy week. And the end of the week that Rob Lee is injured, Steve Glass get injured, little infection. Then we are here, Anderson gets an infection. We send him today back with train. And then we get someone sent off again. And I think a little bit unfortunately. I don't know what we do wrong.
You don't sound a happy man.
No, because it's all circumstances that you have not in control. It's a big disappointment because you deserve more, and that is what the team feels also. First goal, they couldn't create any chances at all. In the chances that they had, especially with the first goal, was a set piece. Also there, unfortunate flick, in there. You think, what's going to happen now again? And of course, in the end, they pushing through. They get all the high balls in, and then it's a lottery. And they have been rewarded. And I wish that we would be on the other end, and hasn't been till now.
Your luck is against you at the moment.
I already give you all the details already what happened this week. So how much bad luck can you have?
Do you feel the sending off was undeserved?
I think before, or the yellow card he gave before, he gives also Shearer a yellow card when he played the ball, and that could be also sent off. Every yellow card nowadays we get is almost thinking, if he doesn't get a red card. So it's incredible. And
don't you have to work through bad luck though? Don't you have to work and make your own luck?
Yeah, but that is what we do. You can't ask more for the players. They have a substitution, and he scores immediately, gets the ball just on his own. I think that I would like to have something like that, and we work very hard for it. And we battle very hard, and everything is okay. And the same you do also Liverpool. You have in control the game. And then again something happens, send off, and can't control the game all the time. Something happens that it slips out of your hands. And that is something that you worry about. Because what can you do about it? I sit on the bench and I can't do nothing about it because I can't be on the pitch. But it's more frustrated for them.
Ruud, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks for speaking. But was it, an hour and a half ago he said it's easy when you're scrapping at the bottom. Maybe it's not quite as easy as he thought, Dave. It's pressure, isn't it, when you're down there?
Well, Charlton never stopped. They kept going, and they're quite entitled to put balls into the box, and you've got big lads on the end of it. It can cause havoc, and You know, it should have been 2-2 2 minutes before, but good luck to Alan. He's deserved his bit of luck today, and they've got the result.
The bookies don't often get it wrong. I wouldn't expect too much of a reaction from you, Dave, as we look at the latest betting. Newcastle have gone out from 10-1 on the back of that to 20-1 now. Blackburn, with just the one defeat under Brian Kidd, 9-1. Everton, Sheffield Wednesday and Coventry, they think, will just survive. The three that are in there right now are the bookies' favourites. 4-1 on the Saints, 10-1 on Charlton, and 14-1 Nottingham Forest, who haven't won a game now in 19 matches. But, again, as we said earlier, there's a long way to go yet, isn't there?
There's a long, long way to go, and that'll certainly change.
Right, into the First Division. Amongst the favourites to come up, two teams head-to-head today at the Stadium of Light, Sunderland and Ipswich. The commentator is Rob Hawthorne.
Magilton. Oh, a missed kick from Thetis that's put them under real pressure with 3 up. It's Kevin Phillips. And Alex Ray, oh, he's lifted it away from goal. Phillips. Now Johnston, while Phillips and Quinn go into the box and Ball waits at the edge. It's Niall Quinn! Goal number 12 for him for this season, and a vital breakthrough for Sunderland. Here's Gray. Run back by Clark. Phillips and Quinn in the middle. And Wright gets it away. Quinn! It's in! Venus. And again Mark Venus. Naylor calling for the early ball in the box. Gets it now, does Naylor. Good, intelligent header back as well to Vilnius. Now can Holland finish? A bullet of a shot! A cracker of a goal! And Ipswich give themselves genuine hope. This is Clapham. And now Dyer. Lovely touch to Holland. Could it be another blockbuster? Oh, it nearly was. Make it. Now Clark. And a lovely layoff from Quinn. And Phillips will be wondering how that one got away. Clark. And Quinn. Good effort. And Richard Wright holds on. Great save. Dyer. And Naylor! That should have been 2-2, Rob. That is a golden opportunity. That should have been 2-2.
So the First Division table looks like this. Just the top, Sunderland. There are no certainties in football, Dave, but they're certain to come up, aren't they? Sunderland 10 points clear of Bradford in second place, who have the game in hand. Bolton now on a nice run, up into third with 49 from 27 played. Birmingham, same points total, they played a game more. Ipswich, 48 from their 28 games played. And Grimsby are on a run as well. They're in there in 6th place. Watford just outside now, and then West Brom. It really, well, you'd expect it to be. It's going to be tight, isn't it?
A lot of big clubs there. A lot of big clubs. But Sunderland, I would say, I'm not a betting man, but they're definitely up.
They're coming up this time, aren't they?
It's going to be a big fight for the rest of them.
OK, final reflections on today. Charlton Athletic, 2 down. Delighted to get back in at 2-2. Is that their springboard with 3 home games to come?
Well, Alan would like to think so, yeah. You've got to build on that now today. And they've got a lot of hard games coming up. And, you know, they've got 3 more home games. Big sides to come here. And if they get something from the games, you know, at least it's not another loss, OK? Alan wanted the 3 points, but they haven't lost today.
Newcastle would have liked the win, 2 up. How do they react to this?
Well, it's... getting back to it, it's not as easy as you think, and it'll be a disappointment to be 2-0 up and then you lose, you know, a 2-goal lead. But the sending off changed the game, and they did the right thing. They dug in, you know, didn't get too many men forward. But all credit to Charlton, they earned the point. And
a word from Southampton to the rest, coming off the back of a 7-1. What's your response to that?
Well, we've got Leeds at home now in 2 weeks' time, and we've got to win all our home games. And as you said, 40 points everybody's looking at. Might need a little bit more, might need some less, but we'll got to pick ourselves up. and just look forward.
Well, after the day you had yesterday, Dave, really do appreciate you turning out for us, and we've thoroughly enjoyed it.
It's been difficult. It's been difficult, but I didn't want you to lose your £50 off Andy Gray there.
Out here, Newcastle led 2-2. Charlton got back at them. See you tomorrow night.
Are you walking around in a haze? Have you stuff to do, but it's one of them days? Did you wake in the morning to the telephone?